Stand up, New York Giant fans. Went a little later today. Usually I do the midday streams. I know you guys are probably used to that schedule, but a lot of people have asked me to do a late night stream. I said, you know what? We'll do the weekly picks late. I kind of did this pre-recorded last year. A lot of you guys asked me to do these live so we could kind of conversate about the games while we're doing them. I'm also going to have two contests. I did contests with you guys last year. I'm going to have two contests that I'm going to do with you guys. It's going to be in the link in the description. I'm also going to post the links throughout the video, but one is going to be an Eliminator challenge where you have to pick a different team each week. The winner at the end of the year is going to get a signed Eli Manning football or something along those lines. I have to talk to my sponsor, official sponsor of the channel, Faruqi and Faruqi. Pretty sure he's got a signed Eli Manning football. If not, it's going to be some kind of signed memorabilia. It's going to be a nice prize. And then we're going to be doing weekly picks. So each week you come back, we hang out, and the winner of the week is going to get some kind of small prize. It'll probably be a fitted hat on a weekly basis. But kind of want to do those with you guys. I just think it's fun to do the weekly picks with you guys on a weekly basis. I like the knockout pool. It was a lot of fun last year. So best of luck to whoever joins. Like I said, the links will be in the description below. Football is around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. We have been waiting now for since January, December. If you're a New York Giant fan, it's been forever. We're all going into the season with our worries as Giants fans. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that the season's back. I think there's a lot to be excited about. And, of course, when you start a new season, there's a lot of unfamiliarity. There's a lot of new pieces to this New York Giants team. We're nervous. We didn't get to see these guys in preseason. Tony didn't play a snap. Barkley didn't play a snap. Golladay didn't play a snap. So I'm really excited to see the product we put forth on the field. It's going to be a tough matchup against Denver. We all know they got a good defense, but we're going to talk about that game as well as every other game on the docket. I'll go as fast as I can. And I didn't do anything extensive in terms of, how teams do against the spread and so on and so forth. I'm just going to give you guys my picks against the spread, how I think teams are going to do in week one, and kind of just talk about the overall matchups. And I'm going to be calling the game on Thursday. But let's talk to a couple people in the chat. What's going on there, Dennis? What's going on there, AB? What's going on there, Jameson? Diehard Giants fan in the chat. Jedi in the chat. Joseph Cupid in the chat. Silo Ren in the chat. Matt Singh in the chat. New York Giants 21. Jameson in the chat. Joseph Cupid in the chat. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Thank you to everybody for being here. Joey says Broncos are going down on Sunday. Let's go Big Blue. I'm with you, buddy. I'm going to pick the Giants. Well, you guys knew that. I've been telling you guys that for a few weeks. I think we're going to win week one. I've got the Giants winning week one, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be very close. Broncos coming in as a 3-point favorite. We'll talk about that throughout the stream. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to want to be talking about the New York Giants and Broncos game. Going to be live with Bad Dog as well, talking exclusively about that contest. NFL experts, Tana, my man. Who won this trade in my fantasy? Not going to say who I am. Okay. Tay Adams and Kyle Pitts for Waller, Diggs. Waller and Diggs won. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Devontae Adams. Okay, I was like, who's Tay Adams? Devontae Adams and Kyle Pitts for Waller, Diggs. And I would go with Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams to me is a first-round pick. Diggs is good too, though. That's close, man. That's about even. I mean, Devontae Adams to me is far and away the best wide receiver, but that's pretty close. Darren Waller's an upgrade over Pitts because you don't know what you're getting. That's pretty even, man. And Yuri, man, thank you very much. I won't watch the game. I'm going out with friends to eat brunch. Hopefully the TV at the place, LL Giants 24-17. I like the prediction, man. I like the prediction as long as we win. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be a game of defense, and we'll see who ultimately wins the contest. But what's going on, Last Jedi? Jameson says, I don't feel sorry to hear that, Jameson. I hope you feel better, buddy. What's up there, TG Fishing? I'm home by myself. Well, Jameson, you get safe, my man. I hope you feel better. But we're going to jump into the matchups this week, and I also want to do some of the over-unders with you guys as well. Matter of fact, I want to start with that, kind of just get like there was a couple of, and in case you don't know what an over-under is, it's Vegas coming out with a number that you either bet on whether the team is going to win more or less games than what Vegas puts out. And I thought there was a couple of interesting over-unders that I really like, and I think it just kind of gives you a vantage point of what the experts think about your football teams going into the season. So I kind of wanted to rate some of the over-unders, give my predictions, get some of the opinions from some of the chat. And I'm looking forward to going over that with you guys as well as we're getting ready to go. But Taco says, Chris, did they officially name all the starters? Well, it's not official. You've gotten injury reports that have come out, and nothing's official. You've had the unofficial depth chart. We'll know probably by Friday or Saturday who's definitely going to play. I don't read too much into the injury report, especially on a Wednesday when they sit out a lot of the starters anyway. It's kind of a rest day a lot of the times. Don't read too much into it. come Friday or Saturday, I think you'll have a really good gist of who's going to play. I expect everybody to play outside of Evan Ingram for the most part in terms of the impact players. Shane Lemieux is still questionable for me, obviously, with the knee injuries. We'll see. But I think Tony's going to play. I think Galladay's going to play. I think Barkley's going to play. Don't read too much into the, I guess, like the limited practice today. Don't read too much into that. Nona, man, thank you so much, man. Stand up, new member. All my members in the chat, by the way. I know you guys don't always check the community notes. Every Sunday, I'm going to be doing a live stream just for an hour for you guys before I do my actual live stream. So we're going to get to talk about the game for about an hour. This week it's at 4:25, so probably from like 2 to 3. So that'll be posted in the community notes. So look out for that, man. But Nona, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Alien in the chat. The Broncos are going to need Faruqi and Faruqi once the G-men are done with them. Let's go, Giants. I sure hope so, man. Official sponsor of the channel. I sure hope so, man. Get the lawyers out. And Michael says, how bad can the nightmare be if Jones sucks? There are no college quarterbacks that stand out, and free agents also stand up. Listen, man, I've said it all offseason. The best interest of this New York Giants football team this year is for Daniel Jones to work out. You know, for all the fans that are hoping that he sucks so they could draft a quarterback, by all accounts, and I watched Spencer Rattler play, and it's only one game, didn't impress me too much. I know he's a Heisman favorite. It's kind of hard to get a real good read on him, being that he plays at Oklahoma. Listen, at the end of the day, the best interest of this football team is for Daniel Jones to grow and work as a quarterback, and we'll see what ultimately happens this year. It's not supposed to be the cream of the crop in terms of the quarterback draft class next year, and as a Giants fan, I'll be the first to tell you, I think the worst decision any NFL team can make is forcing a quarterback pick. That's the last thing I want the Giants to do. Of course, if they love a quarterback and Jones doesn't work out this year, you go out and get him. But we'll see what happens in the offseason. Hopefully, we're not even thinking about that by year's end. Hopefully, Daniel Jones goes out there this year, throws 50,000 touchdowns, and New York Giants win the division and the Super Bowl. Joey says, can't wait to see the offense without Evan Ingram. Yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about that. Obviously Evan Ingram has his pros. He gets open, right? But the guy doesn't hold on to the football. He dropped 10% of the passes that were thrown his way. He's an injury concern. He's not the best of blockers. I think we can get by without Evan Ingram. Let's put it that way. And I always thought he was going to be a focal point of the offense in this game because you have to work the middle of the field against the Denver defense. So that kind of sucks, but maybe you use Tony a bit more. You got to find ways to get the ball over the middle of the field because I think the corners are going to kind of lock down the exterior part of the field. So we'll see. But I also think they're going to have a lot of max protect, being that Denver's got that good pass rush. We have a questionable offensive line. I expect to see a lot of 2 tight end sets. And in that formation, you don't really want Evan Ingram out there anyway when you're trying to get the best blockers out there to support your quarterback. Ian, man, thank you very much. Is Quincy Roche on the 53-man roster? Quincy Roche is on the 53-man roster. He's actually the primary backup on the first unofficial 53-man roster for the New York Giants. Him and the other rookie, Azeez Ojulari. But yes, he is on the official 53-man roster. I don't know if he's going to play. We'll see. But yes, he is on the 53-man roster. And I do think there's a good chance he could get at least a couple of snaps the first game. But let's go over some of the over-unders that I really wanted to show you guys and just kind of give my opinion on all of it. Let me just pull it up for you guys, the lines and everything else. And I guess we'll talk about general NFL. And, of course, we're still going to be talking about the Giants. You know that. But let's share the screen real quick. And I kind of wanted to go over some of the teams and how some teams I think are being some overrated, some underrated, and talk about just some of the general teams in the NFL this year. You might not be able to read that, but I'll be able to read it all for you guys if you can't. Nikki, man, thank you very much. You're the flipping best. Broncos gave up 20+ 12 times in 2020. Yeah, their defense, at least in terms of points given up last year, I think they were like the 20-something ranked defense. Now, where they really excel, and if you look at Vic Fangio over the course of history with the Bears and with the Broncos, he's been incredible in the red zone. The Broncos the last 2 years have had the best red zone defense in football. That's the first time in NFL history that has happened since they've been tracking that stat. So the Broncos have a very good red zone defense, but they do have a bend but don't break defense. They added a lot of pieces to that defense this year, Nikki, though. It's not the same team that they brought back. This year they brought back, I think, a more improved defense. But we'll see, man. We got to put them to the test, and let's see who comes out on top on Sunday. Brandon, man, thank you very much. Really excited to see Tony this weekend. I was discouraged throughout training camp with the reports, but I have a feeling he is going to be a stud. I think Tony's going to be maybe the biggest X factor in this game on Sunday offensively for the New York Giants. I really believe that, and we'll talk more about that throughout the stream. If he has as big of a role as Joe Judge is leading on, he's an X factor. He's a guy that you can't really game plan for. I'm excited to see how the New York Giants utilize him, and I think the Giants are going to have to create big plays to win this football game. Tony's a guy that could certainly do that. But I kind of want to go into some of these over-unders and some, just scan through them and just get a general outlook of how Vegas feels about the teams in the NFL this year. They got the Kansas City Chiefs at 12.5 wins, over-under. I would pick the over. As crazy as that may sound to some people, I'm curious to get the take in the chat. That would mean 13 wins or more in a 17-game season. And it's tough, right? Because injuries happen. We saw Mahomes go down. He missed 2 games a year ago. 13 games is a lot, and I know the West, a lot of people think the Chargers are going to be improved. They play the NFC East, though, which most people probably don't think is the strongest division, even though we play in it, and we don't want to say that about our own division. I don't know, man. I think that's a pretty easy over. I think they're going to go over the 12.5. The Bucks at 12, again, I would go over. 12 might be the right number, but I think it's right in that area. But a couple of teams that I thought were underrated. The Green Bay Packers at 10. I didn't get that number, guys. Last year, the Packers went 13-3. They play in the NFC North, where I'm actually a bigger fan of the Vikings, I feel like, than most people this year. I could see them making the playoffs. The Detroit Lions are a complete trash bag. And the Chicago Bears, I think, are going to struggle with a rookie quarterback. I love the Green Bay Packers to go over 10 wins. I think they're one of the most underrated teams in terms of this over-under on this list. I like the Packers over 10. I don't hate the 49ers over 10.5. The Patriots at 9.5 are about the right number. The Chargers seem a little bit high. 9.5, we'll talk about them more throughout the stream. I could see 10 wins for them. I love the under for the Dolphins on 9.5. If you guys watch my stream, you know I'm not the biggest Dolphins fan this year. I think they could definitely disappoint. I'm not a big fan of the Dolphins this year. I see 7 or 8 wins for them. The Cowboys at 9. That's the first NFC East team in our division. They got the Dallas Cowboys over-under at 9 wins. So, according to Vegas, they're the favorite to win this division, right? You get it, right? They got the quarterback, Dak Prescott, so on and so forth. But their defense, to me, is still a major question mark. I think 9's appropriate. I think that's about the number that I'd expect for them. Washington at 8.5. A lot of people obviously very high on their defense, their defensive line. Again, that's about right for me. I think they're an 8 or a 9-win team. Denver Broncos at 8.5. It's about right. But a couple of other teams, I love betting the Falcons under at 7.5. I am not fond of the Falcons this year. They lost Julio Jones. I think Matt Ryan's on the back end of his career. Their defense is atrocious. I think the Giants are going to smoke the Falcons. And I think the 7.5 number is way too high. I got the Falcons at 5 or 6 wins, and I like them under the 7.5. So a couple of numbers I really like. I love the Packers over 10. I love the Falcons under 7.5. And I love the Giants over 7. They got the Giants at 7 wins, guys. You can call me a homer. I get it. I'm a Giants fan. But I think that's their floor. I think 6 or 7 wins is their absolute floor if everything goes wrong. I think we're being a little bit disrespected. I think maybe 8 I could understand. 7.5 maybe even. I like the number at 7. I think the Giants are going over 7. I think they're being disrespected by Vegas. They won 6 games last year. They play an extra game this year. Their defense has improved. You have to think their offense can't be any worse. I don't know, man. I think 7's being a little bit disrespected. I like the Giants to go over 7. And then finally, the team that I absolutely love is the Texans at 4. They got the Texans at 4 wins. I'm taking the under. I do not see how Tyrod Taylor, with that Houston Texans football team, is going to win more than 3 games. I don't see it. I think the Houston Texans go under the 4. They're the lowest number on the chart. I love the Texans under 4. I love the Packers over 10, and I love the Falcons under 7.5. So that's my take on some of the over-unders to start the year and some of the games that I really like. I don't know how the Texans are listed at 4, to be completely honest with you. I think it's a disgrace. But let's get into some of the super chats that I may have missed. Brendan said, really excited to see. Yeah, you and me both, man. I can't wait. And Skywalker says, hot take, Tony, best rookie receiver this year. That is, wow, that is a hot take. That is a hot take, Skywalker. Tony, the best rookie wide receiver this year. Now, if you would have said Justin Jefferson going into last year, people would have said that was a hot take too. Unless there's injuries for the Giants, and I'm excited for Tony. I think Tony could be good. I actually mocked Tony to go to the Giants before the draft started. I had him going in the second round after the trade down on Azeez Ojulari going in the first, but I did think that he really fit the scheme. But I just don't think the target share, unless we have injuries, which we're not hoping for, is going to be there for Kadarius Toney to win, be considered the best rookie wide receiver this year. I just think there's going to be more opportunities for other rookie wide receivers, whether that be Jalen Waddle, whether that be Devontae Smith, whether that be Jamar Chase. So we'll see. We'll see what role he has, but I do think he could be a really good wide receiver long term. I wouldn't go that far, though. I would not say he's going to be the best rookie wide receiver this year. I am excited to see him play, though, and I do think he could be a big-time difference maker for our offense this year. You look at our offense last year, we need big plays. That's what he brings to the table. And Bill, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Number one reason Giants win Sunday. Number one reason Giants lose. Let's hear it, prognosticator Tana. Bill, man, first off, I can't say thank you enough, man, for all the incredible generosity you always show. And thank you for being such a great supporter of the channel. I always see you comment on my videos, and you're a big offensive line guy like myself. If the Giants are going to lose this game, man, it's quite simple. They're gonna turn the football over. This is a game where they have to play mistake free. They can't turn the football over, and it's kind of why I go back to my keys. The Giants have got to, and I'm not saying they got to run on every single play. I'm not saying that they got to run on every single first down. But the Giants in this game, if they're going to win, they have got to establish the run. And if they're unable to do that, and Daniel Jones is put in third and long situations, and Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, if Chubb plays, have the ability to tee off, and they know Jones has to throw on 3rd and 8, and the secondary could play back, it's going to be a long day for Daniel Jones. I'm being real with you, man. This defense is good. So they have got to be able to get into third and manageable situations. They got to establish the run. If they do that, I think they have a very good chance to win this game. But if they get stuffed, or if they have a sloppy game, they turn the football over, this is a game you have to play near mistake-free to win, because that defense, in my opinion, is really good. It's going to be hard for us to put points on the board. It's going to be a game of field position. You can't give the Broncos good field position. So to me, you gotta keep, you can't turn the football over. And you have to be able to run the football fairly effectively for us to win this football game. And I think they're going to have to hit a big play. I think they're going to have to hit one big play in this game if they're going to win. Because I think it's going to be hard for us to score in the red zone. Last year, as excited as we are about the improvements of this offense this year, there's no familiarity yet. He hasn't thrown a ball to Galladay in a real game yet. He has not thrown a ball to Kyle Rudolph in a real game yet. Barkley hasn't played in a preseason game yet. I think they're going to have to hit a big play, because I do think they're going to struggle in the red zone. Last year, the Giants ranked 31st in the league in red zone scoring. This was the best red zone defense. Now, the good news, the Giants had the second best red zone defense. The Broncos had the 27th best red zone offense. So neither team was really good in that area. And I think it's going to be a game where there's going to be a lot of field goals. Don't turn the football over, establish the run, stuff the run, force Teddy B to throw the football. It's easy to talk about, and the keys are easy. It's a pretty much a point-blank game for me. There's nothing extravagant in this game. Which team is going to win at the point of attack is going to win this football game? Who's going to be able to establish the run? The Broncos have nearly as many questions about their offensive line as we do. Their pass protection is better than ours. I'll be the first to say it. They had the highest graded left tackle in football last year, but their run blocking was graded out as one of the worst. They had the worst stuff rate in football. So we'll see. Whoever gets a better push up front, I think, is going to win this football game, and who could establish the run. So, yeah, there you go, Bill. I tried to give you my best answer, but nothing too extravagant. Sean, man, thank you very much. My advice for the G-men, test Surtain, have to. I agree with you. And we'll see if Surtain, how much playing time he gets, because I think he's the third corner. We'll talk about that in the preview video that I'm going to have out on Friday. But if Surtain's out there, I'm with you, man. You have got to test the rookie. I know a lot of people have talked about how good he looked in preseason, and listen, he may be incredible. But at the end of the day, we're not talking about, Jeff Okudah was a more highly regarded prospect, coming out of college. You got to test this guy. Okudah struggled last year as a rookie. It's one of the hardest positions to transition to in the NFL. And obviously, he's got a lot of help. That's a great secondary with Simmons, their safety group, and everything else. So he's not, he has a lot more to work with than what Okudah did with the Lions. But a rookie corner, first game, you've got to test him. I'm with you, my man. I know Surtain looked good in preseason, but I'm testing him with Daniel Jones. There's no doubt about it. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, buddy. And let's see. Did I see Nick the Wick? Nick the Wick in the chat. What's going on, Nick, man? Glad to see you, buddy. Hope you're ready, getting ready for the football season. I hope everybody's having a good night. And, yeah, I just kind of want to hang out with you guys for a little bit tonight before we really start to get into the live Giants content throughout the week. Nick says, hey, Chris, been real busy with football. I'm getting the NFL Game Pass. It has all the film. If you want, I can give you the lot. Oh, man, dude, that'd be incredible, Nick, man. Yeah, I mean, I think you follow me on Twitter, and I think you're in my Discord. That'd be friggin' awesome, and I appreciate yeah, I'll definitely use it. I appreciate that. From what I heard, Game Pass is not showing the coaches' film this year, but I don't know if they changed that. I was talking to Mike Too Nice and Bobby, actually. They said they're not showing the coaches' film, but maybe they changed that. But I can't. Thank you so much, man, for the offer, man. I really appreciate it, buddy. What's going on there? Danilo Manix popping in. Hey, what's up there? Chris Manix popping in, buddy. But now I kind of want to get into some of the games of the week. We're going to start with Thursday night. And, let's pull this up real quick. I'm going to pull up each game with the spread. We're going to start with Thursday night. And, I'm excited. I'm going to be calling the game. Bucks, Cowboys. We get to see one of our division rivals. First game of the season. You have to figure this is going to be high scoring, right? And you look at the over-under. It's 51.5 points. And to be honest with you, I think it's going over that. Dallas, they got an inexperienced secondary. You're going up against Tom Brady. Tom Brady's career record in his opening game is 14-4. Defending Super Bowl champs. The Bucks bring pretty much everybody back. Obviously, the key injury in this game is the Dallas Cowboys are going to be without their all-pro guard, Zach Martin. So, I'm telling you, I think this game's going over. The spread is 8.5. So, I would not bet. I'm not a bettor, but if I was a bettor, I would not bet on this game. I think if I'm going to guess and I'm going to pick the Bucks to cover. I think the Bucks win. I'm going to go 34-23. Dak probably a little rusty his first game back. Didn't really play in the preseason, coming off the injury. Dallas's defense, like I said, not that good. I think Brady picks on the rookie linebacker that they drafted in the first round. Brady has his way at home. But I could see, and we all know this, the Cowboys, they are notorious for getting late points, meaningless points late in games. And that's kind of what I could see in this game. I've got it 34-23, but you look at last year, Dak Prescott, he had a lot of garbage time touchdowns late in the games last year. I could see something like that this year. I could see the Bucks being up by 2 touchdowns with 2 minutes to go and Dak driving them down the field and the Cowboys lose by 7. So I could see easily the Cowboys getting a backdoor cover here. I think the Bucks are going to win, and I think they're going to win comfortably. I think they'll have a two possession lead throughout the majority of this game, and I just can't see. Well, I could see. It's football. Anything can happen, and it's opening night. Maybe the Tampa Bay Bucks coming off the Super Bowl hangover, but I just can't see the Tampa Bay Bucks losing this football game. Opening night at home, the defending champs going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas will put up points, but I don't see their defense keeping up with that Tampa Bay Bucks offense. So I love the Bucks tomorrow night. I think the Cowboys get off to a nice 0-1 start. But I could see, like I said, I could see the Cowboys getting a backdoor cover. But I will pick the Bucks to cover. I'll go 34-23. Next up, you've got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. These two teams actually met last year. They met last year late in the season, kind of after Pittsburgh fell out of their groove. Pittsburgh was like 11-0. And then they lost to Washington, ironically enough. And had that not happened, the Giants would have won the division. And that was like a makeup game, I think, due to the pandemic. They played it at a weird time. It was on like a Tuesday. But these two teams played last year, and it was in Buffalo. Buffalo beat them by double digits. Now, the Steelers, they've got a revamped offensive line. They've got a rookie that I love. I wanted the Giants to draft him, but he's a rookie starting at the center in Kendrick Green. They replaced Pouncey. Now, I still respect their defense, but at the end of the day, this Buffalo Bills team at home, I think they're legit this year. I think they are one of the 2 or 3 favorites to come out of the AFC. Even though I think some people may be sleeping on the Steelers this year, I think people are writing them off. Ben Roethlisberger has never had a sub-500 record throughout his entire career. And I could easily see the Steelers winning 9 or 10 games this year. I just don't see how they stack up with Buffalo. And I think Buffalo's going to cover the 6.5. I think they win by at least 10. I think the Bills come out ready to go. And I like the Bills. The over-under is 48.5. I like the under on the over-under. I'd go something like, I don't know, 23-13. I think I don't think the Steelers will put up a ton of points. I think their defense will, maybe a little higher than that. But I think they lose by about 10, and I think it is under the 48.5. So I'm going to go with the Bills to cover that spread. I do like Buffalo in that game. And let's talk to the chat for a little bit. Bucks losing. Fabian's got the Bucks losing? Fabian, I am convinced, Fabian. And I love you, Fabian. What's going on, Authentic Man? Thanks for popping in the stream. I am convinced that because you always say the Giants are going to lose, and I get that. The Giants have won 15 games over the last 3 years. But I am just convinced at this point in time that you just think anything that could go wrong for the New York Giants is going to go wrong for the New York Giants. Because how in the world do you think the Dallas Cowboys are going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road? Like, logically, could it happen? Sure. But why would you pick it? I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think the Dallas Cowboys get absolutely owned in that game. And I got Dallas by losing by about 10 points, maybe even 14, but I think the Bucs will win that game fairly comfortably. I really just think that you just think anything that could go wrong for the Giants is going to go wrong for the Giants. What do you see in that Dallas Cowboys team in terms of how they could stack up with the Tampa Bay Bucs on the road? I don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And Nick, man, thank you very much. Just checked. Film will be available in 2012. All right, Nick, man, thank you so much, man. And yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that. Maybe we'll do like a live stream where I go over some of the film with you guys. That'd be cool, man. Even though I'm not a guy who breaks down film, but maybe we could pick out some plays we want to look at. That'd be cool, man. I appreciate you for reaching out and giving me the offer, Nick, man. I really appreciate it. What's going on there, Edward Chairman? Thanks for popping in. Because we beaten Denver. We never have several game leads. Oh, Fabian. Well, why can't Washington win? And we're going to get into that game. But there's no way the Dallas. Well, I'm not going to say no way, but I'm very confident that the Tampa Bay Bucs are going to win tomorrow night. Next up, what a storyline, guys. What a storyline in this game. And what's going on, Rudy T, man? Thanks for popping in the stream. And you may look at it and you might be like, oh, Jets, Panthers. Like, what's the big deal? The Jets stink. And I'm excited to see Zach Wilson this year, by the way. I'm a big Zach Wilson fan. I think the Jets made the right pick. He's looked good in preseason, but he's a rookie. He's going to struggle. But you got Darnold going up against his former team. You got Matt Rule, the head coach for the Carolina Panthers, who was this close. Let me get this out of the way. It's a 5-point spread. You got Matt Rule, who was this close to being the New York Jets head coach. And Rule, the big reason why he wanted to be the Jets head coach, partially was because he really liked Sam Darnold, which is why the Carolina Panthers traded for Darnold. And now you got the revenge factor, Darnold going up against the New York Jets. I think it's a really good storyline. But I'm going to tell you what, and I am not the biggest Carolina Panther fan this year. I think they're a little bit overrated. I think we're going to beat them when we play them. But they're a 5-point favorite at home against the Jets. You got a rookie quarterback who's never played before. You got a rookie head coach who's never coached before. I think the 5 points is too low. And maybe I'll be wrong, but I look at that Jets defense. It's not that good. I don't think it's that good. And I think the rookie quarterback is going to struggle. I think Carolina's got some weapons on that offensive side of the football. We'll see how Darnold does. He is also in a new scheme as well. So we'll see. But I think the 5 points is not enough, man. I like the Panthers by about, I'll say 10 points. I think the Panthers cover that. And I think they cover it fairly easily. But we'll see. But I think that's a great storyline going in week one. I think that's one of the better storylines on the docket just because you got Darnold going up against his former team. So I think that's a cool game week one. And I'll definitely check it out as I'm waiting for the Giants game at 4:25, which obviously I'm going to stream on the channel. Next game, the Houston. Can we change their team name? Do we have to call them we should call them the Houston dog shit. Like this team, if they win more than 2 games, I'm going to be shocked this year with everything that they've done. But you got the Houston Texans going, they are home rather. So the Jaguars going to Houston, but the Jaguars on the road are favored by 2.5 points against the Houston Texans. Now, of course, what's going on, Mike, man? I'm going to read this in 1 second for you. Of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars got Trevor Lawrence. That, to me, is the biggest storyline in this game. Everybody's going to be super excited to see him play. 2.5 points to me. I feel like there's one team every year at the beginning of the year where I always feel like the spreads are way too low. And as the Vegas figures out how bad they are, the spreads start getting higher and higher and higher. I think Houston is going to be near historically bad. Like I think they're that bad. And I don't care who they're playing. I think that they should be an underdog. I don't care where they're playing. I don't think 2.5 points is enough. I know it's Lawrence's first game, but I think the Jaguars are going to come out, and I think they're going to cover on the road. I like Jacksonville to cover. Now, we'll see. Sometimes you get freaky things that happen week one. Last year, everybody thought the Jaguars were going to win they ended up being really bad, but they actually won their first game, and then people started to say maybe they'll surprise people. So we'll see. It's week one. Anything could happen, but I don't know, man. They got the new head coach over there, Culley, I think, or Cuddy, or whatever his name is. I don't see it. I don't see how the Houston Texans are going to keep up with Jacksonville. I don't see how the Houston Texans are going to keep up with anybody. The first time they win a game this year, I'll be shocked. But I like Jacksonville to start off 1-0 and Trevor Lawrence to get off on the right foot. And Lawrence Lawrence is one of the guys that I'm really excited to see this year. Obviously, he's been very highly talked about. Probably the most talked about quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. So, coming out of college. So we'll see how he does this year. He lost Travis Etienne, though, to start the year. The Jaguars' offensive line is questionable. I think he's going to go through his struggles, but he's clearly got some talent. Mike, man, thank you very much. I told Bad Dog that since I'm not allowed to enjoy myself, the Yankees collapse, the Giants will suck, and Philly. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Please don't say it. Now, I don't want anybody to win the division but the Giants, but do not say the Philadelphia Eagles. Anybody but the Philadelphia. I obviously I don't want the Cowboys and Washington to win either, but after what the Eagles did last year with the tanking, don't tell me the Philadelphia Eagles, Mike. Don't worry, man. That's not going to happen. Eagles will win 5 or 6 games this year. I'm going to continue to say that. Eagles fans are going to continue to call me crazy, and I'm going to continue to say it. 5 or 6 wins for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts will not be the quarterback going into the 2022 season. They have 3 first-round draft picks, and they'll be taking a quarterback in 2022. Book it. Take it to the bank. Yuri says Brady is going to throw a party on the Cowboys secondary. Pitts and Ridley are going to crush the Eagles secondary, and we're going to get into that game. I think that game's coming up, but that's a game I could see going either way. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I think the Falcons are a 3-point favorite. The Falcons are at home. But the Eagles stink, man. Battle of the Birds. We're going to talk about that, though, in a minute. That's going to be one of the games coming up. But, yeah, I'm excited to see that game as well. Hopefully the Eagles get absolutely demolished. I could see them winning that game, though. I think the Falcons stink. And Q-Doggy says, what's up, entertainer? Hyped about Giants football this season. Taking my son to the Washington versus Giants game week 2 at FedEx. That's awesome, Q-Dog. Enjoy the game, man. That's going to be a great game. Thursday night football. I think that's going to be a great game. I think, obviously, it's close to a coin flip game. It's on the road, so a bit of a challenge there. But we'll see how we do week 1. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the season to start. I can't wait week 1 against the Broncos and hopefully enjoy the game going up against Washington. It's just awesome that fans are, able to go back to the stadiums. And I'm excited to go to a game myself. So let's get back to it. What's up there, Dust, man? Thanks for popping to the stream, buddy. Let's get back to it. But I think that was the next one. Let me just make sure. Yes, it was. Tennessee versus Arizona. It's a 3-point spread. I didn't really analyze this game. I didn't think about it too much. Titans are at home. You guys know if you watch my channel, I'm not the biggest Arizona Cardinals fan. I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray fan. I'm not the biggest Cliff Kingsbury fan. Like, if you ask me right now, a coach that's going to get fired, I think he's on the hot seat this year if the Arizona Cardinals win like 7 games. I never thought he should have got the job to begin with. Wasn't a very accomplished head coach at Texas Tech. But Tennessee's defense stinks. The over-under here is 52. Bet the over. That's my best bet in this game. Bet the over. The Titans' defense stinks. The Titans are going to put up points, though. I mean, they got A.J. Brown. They got Julio Jones. They got Derrick Henry. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I think it goes over the 52. I think you're looking at, you might see like a 30-27, 31-27 type game. It's definitely not a game I bet on with the spread. I could see this being a push. I think the field goal number is appropriate. I'll go with the Cardinals getting 3, actually, on the road. I'll go with the Cardinals getting 3. I just think that Titans defense is really bad. They're going to put up a lot of points this year, though. Obviously, I think they're going to win their division. Their division's weak, but I could see Arizona going in there and giving them a good fight. So I'll take the 3 points with Arizona. Maybe the Titans win narrowly. I don't know, 1 or 2 point game, one way or the other. But I do think it goes over the 52. If I was going to make a bet in that game, that would be it. I think it goes over. I think it's a very high scoring game. Tennessee versus Arizona. Tennessee's defense is just not good this year. So, I don't think Arizona's defense is that good either. Yeah, the Cards do have a better D, Joe. I agree with you. And I could see the Cards winning that game. I could definitely. And I'm not the biggest Cardinal fan, but I could see the Cardinals winning that game. I wouldn't be shocked if they pull an upset week 1. Let's see what we got here. They did get Bud Dupree. But I still don't like Tennessee's defense. I'm not a fan of Tennessee's defense. I think the Chiefs will win by 21. The Browns ain't. Ooh, we're gonna get into that game as well. That's one of the later games. We're gonna get into that game too. Dust Under. Can the Chiefs stop the run? Nope. Yeah, but the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, man. And Authentic says, yeah, that's a tough one too. Yeah, Authentic. I think the 3 points is like perfect. Like, I could easily see Arizona winning. I could easily see Arizona losing by a field. I think it's gonna be a really close game. And again, I think the best bet for that game is the over. The 52 points to me is just not. It's not high enough. And Horny Tana, man, Horny Tana, best name on YouTube. Yo, my sexy man. Any chance you're going to the game in Tampa? I just bought tickets to the game. Can't wait to poop on Brady and watch it in person. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't poop on Brady. But no, I'm not going to the game in Tampa. I'm not going to the game in Tampa. I would love to go to a road game next year, and Tampa would be one of the places I'd love to go. But no, I'm not going to the game in Tampa. But enjoy the game, and don't poop on Brady. Don't poop on Brady. You'll probably go to jail. Tana, I just made my varsity football team. Go Hog Molly. Zany, that's awesome, man. Congratulations, buddy. Giants could win the game. I think Cleveland is more balanced than Kansas City. Probably won't. We'll see, man. Are you going to the Falcons game? I am leaning that I will, Ryan, but I don't want to say conclusively that I am. But I'm leaning to at least 50-50. I'm definitely going to the Eagles game. But let's get into the next game. I forgot what we just did the – okay. You guys are going to hate me for this pick. But this is the next game. And if I was a bettor, this is probably my favorite game of the week. If it's not my favorite, it's my second favorite. No, there's 3 games I love, and I haven't gotten to the other 2 yet. This is one of them. I don't know how Washington's getting a point. And some people may say, what are you talking about? Justin Herbert, the Chargers are going to be fantastic. And I know Curtis Samuel's out for this game as well for Washington. Okay? I don't know how Washington's getting a point, and I'm going to explain why. 1, Chargers are traveling across the country. 2, Chargers are starting a rookie left tackle. As much as I wanted Rashawn Slater, he's going up against one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. 3, Justin Herbert's in his first game in a brand new scheme, not just Herbert, the complete offense. The defense is in a brand new scheme, a brand new head coach. I think Washington's getting disrespected. I really do. If it was in LA, I'd probably take LA. I think Washington's going to win the game. And I think they're going to cover. I think they're going to beat them by like 4 to 7 points. I think Washington's getting disrespected here. And I'm rooting for the Chargers. I want the Chargers to beat Washington. I'm praying that they beat them. I don't like this matchup for LA. I really don't. Like, if there was a team that I would not want to play week 1 outside of the obvious teams like the Chiefs, it would be Washington. If I'm the Chargers in a brand new scheme and with their rookie left tackle and their inexperienced offensive line, I don't like the matchup. I like Washington to win this game. I like them to win it between 4 and 7 points. So that's one of the games that I really like in that game. I like Washington to win that game. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Chargers, but that's my honest opinion. I got Washington winning week 1 against the Chargers. And that's one of my 3 favorite games of the week. Next up, you've got the Atlanta Falcons versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Herbert is better than Fitzmagic, but I think there's other factors than just the quarterback. Washington, if they win any games, most games they win is they're not going to have the better quarterback. Let's see what we got here. Give me the Chargers by a hair. Nate likes the Chargers. Patriots will win 24. Well, we're going to get into the Dolphins game, Colby. Falcons, Eagles. This game is in Atlanta. Eagles. How many Eagles fans we got in the chat? Eagles are getting 3 points in Atlanta. How many Eagles fans we got in the chat? Did you guys leave yet because you know your team's going to suck, or do we have a couple of Eagles fans in the chat? How many Eagles fans we got in the chat? But what's going on there, Roman? Thanks for popping the stream, man. The Chargers are winning that unless the Skins D-line takes over. I think they will. That's why I'm picking Washington. Eagles are trash. Eagles stink. The Philadelphia Eagles, and I was looking, I was looking for a couple games on the schedule before the year started, where I wanted to pick the Philadelphia. Well, not wanted, but I was like, they can't go 0-17. This is one of the games I could see them winning. It is. It's one of the games I could see them winning. But I'm not picking them. On the road, Sirianni first game. Jalen Hurts has 4 games under his belt. I think people are overrating him, to be completely honest with you. Eagles fans rather overrating him. I think regular football fans are overrating him. I don't think he's going to be that good. We'll see. But yeah, I'm going with the Falcons at home, man. I think the Falcons cover narrowly. I think it'll be a close game, but I'll go Falcons between 4 and 6 points to cover the 3. Yeah, that's my take. I think the Eagles stink, but if there's a couple of games they can win, this is one of them. If the Eagles don't win this game, if you look at their schedule, they're going to start like 0-5. Like, they better win this game. And they're an underdog going in Atlanta. Yeah, I'm taking Atlanta to beat the Philadelphia Eagles week 1, and I'm going to laugh my ass off every step of the way this year. Every time the Eagles lose, I'm going to have a huge smile on my face. Hello from West Point. Biggest fan of the entertainer. Go Big Blue and go Army. What's going on there, Maximus, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. Sheigel's going to waste the first overall pick on Rattler. I am not a fan of Rattler, but, we'll talk about him more throughout the season, but I am not the biggest fan of Rattler, at least from what I've seen so far. I only watched the last game, but next up, Indianapolis taking on the Seattle Seahawks. This game is in Seattle. Point spread 2.5. Seattle is no, I think this game is actually in Indianapolis. I cut it off by mistake, but the game is in Indy. Carson Wentz is going to be playing in this game. He's familiar with the scheme. Obviously, it's the same scheme he had in Philadelphia. Colts have a very good defense, strong offensive line. I'm not sure if Quentin Nelson is playing. I know he's on the injury report. I think he's playing. Maybe somebody in the chat could update me on that. I think he's playing. They are at home. This is tough for me, man. I am not the biggest Seattle Seahawks fan this year. I'm never the biggest Seattle Seahawks fan, to be completely honest with you. Russell Wilson is the only reason why I feel like they ever win 10 games, because the rest of their team is complete trash. But Wentz, man, I don't know if I want to believe that he could have a rebound year this year, back with the offensive coordinator that he did so well with the Philadelphia Eagles. I truly want to believe that, but I'm not buying in, man. He's off to a rocky start with the injury. I don't think I could do it, man. I think I'm going to take Seattle. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of the Seattle Seahawks this year. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think the Niners and the Rams are going to make it out of the West, but I'll go with the Seahawks. I'll go with the Seahawks to narrowly beat the Indianapolis Colts, and yeah, they'll cover. It's 2.5. They'll win by 3 or 4. Narrowly beat them. I think it'll be a good game, though. Colts could obviously run the football. Is the Seahawks win 24-20. The Colts defense will give yeah, I'm with you. I think it'll be a close game. 3 or 4 points. I think it'll be a good game. That's one of the better games when you look at the first week matchups, Jed. I think that's did I just pull up the Giants game, but we're not up to that yet. I skipped a couple of games. All right. This is my favorite game this week if you're a bettor. This game right here. This is my favorite game. This is my lock. And if you lose, do not blame me. Minnesota, home. Cincinnati. Minnesota favored by 3. I friggin' love the Vikings in this game. And I'll be the first to say I am probably higher on the Vikings than most people this year. I have the Vikings getting a wild card out of the NFC North. I think they could win 9 or 10 games. I love the Vikings only favored by 3 at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't understand the spread, to be completely honest with you. I know people are high. Burrow's coming off the injury. But I know people are high about their offense with Jamar Chase. They got weapons with T. Higgins. Yada, 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 yada. I don't know, man. I still think their offensive line is a major question mark. I think the Vikings have a lot of young talent. They've got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the football themselves. I think the Vikings are going to win. And I honestly don't understand why it's only 3. I thought it would have been at least 5 or 6 points. And I like Minnesota favored by 3 points to win that game. I really do. I don't. That's the game I'm most sure about this week. I think they're going to cover. Next up, this is a game I like as well. You want to talk about a team, and what's going on, Levance, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, man. You want to talk about a team that's awful. You're looking at it. This team is awful. The Detroit Lions. Now, they're at home. Detroit Lions taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Niners, to me, are one of the top, I'll say 3 or 4 teams in the NFC, maybe 5. I think a lot of people forget about all the injuries they had last year. And Bosa goes down. I know people look at Garoppolo like, what can he do? Well, he did bring him to a Super Bowl. Shanahan's a good offensive play caller. They got a lot of weapons over there with Kittle and Ayuk and everybody else. The Lions, to me, are the second worst team in the NFL. And I think the Niners are coming out for blood. 7.5. I am taking it. I am laying the 7.5. This game could be played on Pluto. This game could be played in Neptune. I don't know. You could play this game anywhere. And I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers, giving the 7.5 points. I don't understand it. I think it should be at least 10 to 12 points. And even then, I'd probably take the Niners. I think the Lions absolutely stink. I think Jared Goff is going to struggle there. He's got nobody to throw the football to. To my knowledge, DeAndre Swift is at least questionable going into that game. TJ Hawkinson's their only real weapon in terms of the passing game. I think the Niners are going to win that game, and I think they cover. I'll go Niners by 14 points. Give me the San Francisco 49ers to obliterate the Detroit Lions in Detroit. So there you go. And I can't believe last year I had Detroit as one of my sleepers. I can't believe I had that. But they're not winning that game. Next up, you've got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Cleveland Browns. And this is one of I think, the headliners of week 1. Both these teams met in the playoffs last year in the divisional round. That was the game where Mahomes went down, and the Chiefs were still able to somehow come out with a victory. Nate says, wait. What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for, Nate? He says, wait. What am I waiting for, Nate? The over-under in this game is 54.5. Browns should have beat the Chiefs last time. They should have, but that's because Mahomes got hurt. Mahomes not hurt going into this game. This game is in Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium. They're going to have fans in the stands. Notoriously one of the toughest places to play. I do. Nate, that's a good call. I do owe you. I forgot about that. I'm going to have to give you $20. And if Cleveland's going to have any chance to win this game, guys, it's simple. We know what the Cleveland Browns' strength is. It's running the football. Nick Chubb averaged like 6 yards a carry last year. Kareem Hunt averaged like 4.5 yards a carry last year. They got a great offensive line. It led to Baker Mayfield having a very efficient year throwing the football. So we know what the Cleveland Browns' strength is. And if they're going to win this game, the best defense for the Kansas City Chiefs is a good ground game. That's the only way you're beating them. I mean, realistically speaking, that's how you're going to beat them. I think the Cleveland Browns are actually one of the most well-equipped teams to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL because of their offensive line and their ability to chew up the clock and keep Pat Mahomes off the field. And with all that being said, I'm laying the 6. I'm taking the Chiefs anyway. Andy Reid, to me, is one of the best offensive minds in football. Obviously, it's a refurbished offensive line, so we'll see what that Chiefs offensive line looks like week 1. But only favored by 6 at Arrowhead Stadium. Andy Reid, to me, one of the best head coaches in the NFL. He has all offseason the game plan for this game. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think they narrowly cover. I'll go like 7, 8, 9, 10 points. I think it's close. And I definitely think the Browns could keep this game close and it'll be competitive throughout the course of the game. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs to narrowly cover. I'll go by a touchdown. It's a 6-point spread. I'll go the Chiefs cover by 1. I certainly wouldn't feel confident betting on the game, but I will go with the Chiefs to cover. I don't think they're blowing them out or anything like that, but I will go with the Chiefs. And let's see. And that's going to bring us to New England taking on the Miami Dolphins. New England is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting teams going into the year. As Giants fans, we were ultra aggressive in free agency, and the Patriots were that much more aggressive. Before the year started, most people thought that the Patriots quarterback was going to be Cam Newton. Ended up a week before the year started, they ended up going with the rookie Mac Jones, who looked really good in preseason. Obviously, Belichick is very confident in his rookie quarterback. He's throwing him out there week 1 with no strong backup to support him. Tua Tagovailoa, in my opinion, one of the biggest question marks. And by the way, it's a 3-point spread. New England's favored by 3 at home. Tua Tagovailoa, in my opinion, one of the biggest question marks going into the year at the quarterback position. I hated the way that the Miami Dolphins handled it last year when they pulled to they did what the Giants did, right? Like Kurt Warner started the first 6 or 7 games. Eli Manning came in. He struggled, but he finished the season. The Dolphins started with Fitzpatrick. They pulled Fitzpatrick after 6 or 7 games. They put in Tua. And then as it started to get down to the nitty gritty and they could compete for the playoffs, they put Fitzpatrick back in. I thought that was a massive mistake. I don't think that's how you treat a rookie quarterback. Once you make that transition, you stick with the rookie. So the way that Miami handled that was not a fan. And that's a big reason why I'm down on Miami this year. I do not like Miami this year. I think they're going to be one of the more disappointing teams in the NFL. Most people have them for 9 or 10 wins. I got them around 7. I am not sold on Miami this year. New England's at home. I am going to say a narrow cover by the New England Patriots at Foxborough. They got to win by 3 or more. I'm going to say they just eke it out. Now, what you have to worry about with the New England Patriots, Mac Jones, rookie quarterback. The other really interesting storyline in this game for me is the 2 coaches. The coach for Miami used to coach, obviously, with Bill Belichick in New England. Flores going up against Bill Belichick. So I think that's one of the more interesting storylines in this game as well. They're pretty familiar with one another, but with all the offseason additions for the Patriots, and again, much like I said about Reid, I'm going to say the same thing about Belichick. Smart guy, has all of, and Flores is really smart too, but has all of season to prepare. He's at home. I like the Patriots in this game. I'm going to go with the Patriots between 4 and 6 points. Give me New England to cover. opening week, and we'll see how I do. I'm going to keep track of, how I do in all these games, and I'm going to say my 3 locks at the end of it, and we'll see how I do. I always like to see how I do, and I'm not a professional gambler, so I'm sure I'm not going to do great, but I always like to give my opinion. It's just fun to go over the games with you guys. And now we're getting to the game that most of the people in here care about. You guys care about this game, right? What do you guys think? What's going on there, D-Man? Thanks for popping in. What's going on there, Tommy B? 425. Get your popcorn ready. New York Giants. Home. Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos traveling to MetLife Stadium. And Vegas had the goal to make the Denver Broncos a 3-point favorite on the road. The same Denver Broncos team that won 5 games last year. The same Denver Broncos team that's starting a quarterback whose career touchdowns, high in touchdowns, is 15. And there's a reason for it. Denver's got a great defense. And they added a lot to it. I get it. Vic Fangio's defense, we're very familiar with that. You think back to Vic Fangio's defense when they were with the Chicago Bears. How did we beat the Chicago Bears in 2018? We ran the hell out of the football with Saquon Barkley. We also had a trick play in that game, which I've said on Twitter this week, that don't be shocked if the Giants try to pull out something like that. Odell Beckham threw a touchdown to Russell Shepard. The New York Giants are going to have to find ways to create big plays in this game if they're going to win it. 3 points at home. I'm getting 3 points with the Giants. I think it's a somewhat safe bet. I think I could see the Giants losing. I'm picking the Giants to win, but if they do lose, I think it's going to be very close. So I think you're looking at like a push. I think the 3 points, I think it should be a pick'em game at the worst. I think the Giants are getting disrespected here with them being at home, and maybe I'll be crazy. I know people look at Denver and they look at their pass rush, they look at their secondary, and they say that they should blow the Giants' doors off. I don't know. And I have a tremendous respect for that Denver Broncos defense. I think it's one of the best in the league. It's the only defense in the history of football to have the number 1 rated red zone defense in football back-to-back years in 2019, 2020. Fangio, well, he was with the Bears at the 5th, 10th, and 11th best red zone defense. So it's something that Fangio certainly brings to the table. They've improved the secondary. You got Von Miller. The defense is ferocious. But again, I go back to Bridgewater, and I go back to our defense. New York Giants defense is nothing to laugh at. And I personally think the New York Giants defense this year by the experts is getting disrespected. I think the New York Giants defense is legit. I think they're going to be a top 5 to 10 defense this year. And, I know it's fantasy football, but I see all these fantasy drafts where the New York Giants are ranked like 22. I see these defensive rankings where the Giants are ranked like 18th or 19th. Last year, the New York Giants were 9th in points, 11th in yards. That was without Adoree Jackson. That was the first year in the scheme. I think Giants defense is going to be legit this year, and Teddy Bridgewater doesn't scare me. Bridgewater's got 2 games in his entire career in 49 starts where he's throwing 3 touchdowns or more. Daniel Jones had that beat in his first 11 starts in the NFL. Bridgewater's going to be a game manager. He's going to be a check-down quarterback. He's going to be asked not to make mistakes. And I think the Giants on defense are going to be aggressive from the 20 to the 50. They're going to take their shots. They're going to blitz. In midfield, I think they'll take a bend but don't break approach, and they'll hold them to 3. But I think before midfield, the Giants are going to be aggressive. They're going to send the dogs at Bridgewater. And if they could stuff the run, the Denver Broncos offensive line last year was ranked dead last in stuff rate. 22% of the time last year, Denver Broncos running backs got hit before or at the line of scrimmage. Was the worst number in the NFL. If the New York Giants could stuff the run against the Denver Broncos and they don't turn over the football, they're going to create turnovers and they're going to win this football game. That's the key to me in this football game. Stuff the run against the Denver Broncos. Force Bridgewater to throw the football. And if you do that, they're going to make mistakes. This New York Giants secondary is too talented. Play field position, pin them deep with Riley Dixon, have strong special teams, and the New York Giants are going to get out with a win. I'm taking the Giants, getting the 3. I think they cover, and I think they win outright. Giants get off to a 1-0 start. T-Boy, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, I'm learning more and more that people in general have a really negative view about the Giants. It is what it is, man. We got to prove the haters wrong. We've won 15 games in 3 years. I get it. Everybody has all the rights in the world to be pundits, to be skeptics. But I think we're going to prove people wrong this year. I think Giants are going to be better than people think. I really do believe that. Obviously, the offensive line is a major question mark, but I think we could stack up with the Denver Broncos, and I think we're going to win. Ian, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, Giants will prove the haters wrong. Let's go, Ian, man. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, buddy. I just called you Bubby, Ian. You probably don't like it when I call you Bubby. So I'm going to go back to Buddy with 2 Ds. So sorry I called you Bubby, Ian. But thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man. And I can't wait to prove a lot of haters wrong this year. And I'm super excited to see Daniel Jones throw the rock this year. I think he's going to struggle. Well, not struggle, but I think they're going to have a conservative game plan. Like I've said for a month leading up into this game and the Washington game, I think they're going to come out trying to control the clock, run the ball, try to hit a big play here and there. I think they'll come out with a conservative game plan. They're going to rely on their defense to try to win these first two games, and then I think they open it up week 3. But I'm excited to see what we got on offense this year with the New York Giants. What's going on there, Chani, man? By the way, anybody that's just tuning in, I'm going to post the links in the chat. It's in the link in the description. I'm going to be having 2 giveaways. I said it at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to be having 2 giveaways. The first is going to be a weekly giveaway. That's this link right here. It's on ESPN. You'll need an ESPN username. I also posted in my community notes, so don't worry. You don't have to leave the stream right now to do it. I will also post it in my community notes, and it's in the description. That first giveaway is the weekly picks this week. Whoever gets the most right is going to get like a fitted hat. It's going to be a smaller prize. Now, the bigger prize that I'm going to do this year, and my sponsor is going to be responsible for it. I think he's already bought it. It's going to be an autographed signed football, I think, by Eli Manning, which is awesome. And I'll show it to you guys. But it's going to be a yearly contest, start of the year to the end of the year. It's going to be a knockout pool. If you don't know what a knockout pool is, I did it last year. You have to pick a different winner each week. Once you pick a team, you can no longer pick them for the rest of the year. Who's ever the last man standing at the end, whenever there's only one person left, wins the knockout pool. So whoever wins the knockout pool is going to get an Eli Manning signed football. So there's the other giveaway. I'm going to post the link in the chat right now. And there you go. So there's the 2 giveaways. There's the 2 contests. You guys could join that. It's on ESPN. You just need an ESPN username. You don't got to do it right now. Like I said, it's in the description. I'll post in my community notes. I'm going to be posting it all over Twitter all week to make sure you guys get an opportunity to join those contests. But the weekly pick'ems, as long as you show up to the stream, I'll always have the link here. I'm going to be doing that every week. So we'll do a small giveaway each and every week. Fitted hat, whatever. And then the big prize at the end of the year. So I just want to, I always like to have fun with you guys. So there's the 2 contests this year on the channel. So looking forward to that. Want to make sure I said that before I forgot. So Jags are my pick 100%. So you're going with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. And I don't hate the pick. The Texans are horrible. That's a ballsy pick for the knockout pool week number 1, but it's not a horrible one. I never like picking divisional games, and I never like picking teams on the road. But it's ballsy, I'll tell you that right now. And if you're ever going to pick the Jaguars, that would be the week to do it. Chris, give us your loss of the week. My loss of the week? What do you mean by loss of the week? Like my guaranteed team is definitely going to lose? You got to ask me that, Slurpee? You know what it is, sports influencer. It's tomorrow night, baby. Dallas Cowboys. Lock it up. If they were fully healthy, the Dallas Cowboys were going to lose. And now they're missing Zach Martin. I can't believe Fabian had the nerve in the chat to tell me the Dallas Cowboys are going to beat the Tampa Bay Bucs without Zach Martin. Dallas Cowboys. That's my guaranteed loser of the week. Dallas Cowboys. Lock it up. Go ahead and waste your Bucs pick in week 1. There you go. Damn, I just noticed that the line could have had Slater's. Yeah, we could have had Slater. What's going on there, Elvis? Oh, you mean who am I going to pick in the knockout pool? Oh, I don't think I'll pick them. I don't like picking Thursday night games, and I don't think I want to waste the Bucs week 1. I'll have to think about that. I'll get back to you guys on that. Maybe I'll tell you tomorrow when I get an opportunity to really look. I didn't really get to look before, but I'll get back. I might pick the Vikings. I like the Vikings. I think I'll pick the Vikings, but I'm going to look further into it. But let's jump into, we just did the Giants game. Now we've got New Orleans versus the Green Bay Packers. And I'm glad to see Vladimir Putin in the chat. What's going on, Putin? Big Cowboys fan. He still popped in. Always appreciate when you pop in, my man. Saints, Packers. Good game. This game is in New Orleans, but I believe it's being played. Somebody in the chat, let me know. I think the game's being played in Florida. I think they're playing the game in Florida. I think that's where the Saints home games are going to be right now due to the hurricane. They're not going to be in the Superdome. Saints coming in as a 4-point dog, really on a neutral field. It's really on a neutral field. It's not even in the Superdome. If it was in the Superdome, I'd be much more inclined to take the Saints. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Saints this year. I think the Saints are a pretty solid football team. You know, you look back at the Saints the last couple of years, and Breeze, to me, and I'm not trying to bash Drew Brees. I know Jedi's in here, and she loves her Saints. She loves Drew Brees. And Drew Brees is a great quarterback. He's a Hall of Famer. He has every stat known to man. But let's be real. Drew Brees, the last 2 or 3 years, in my opinion at least, was a game manager. And that's a credit to the New Orleans Saints organization. They set Drew Brees up late in his career to be able to manage games and win football games and play smart. And you look what happened when he went down. Teddy Bridgewater still went 5-0. And I think a lot of people are just looking at Jameis Winston and they're saying, oh, he's not going to win games. They lost Drew Brees. I think Jameis Winston could step in there, and I think he can win football games. Now, the Saints lost some players on defense, but I think the Saints are being overlooked by people. I think they're a dangerous team, not to win a Super Bowl, but I think they're definitely a clear playoff threat. Obviously, the hurricane may change my opinion on that, but the last time they had a hurricane, they won a Super Bowl. But the fact this game's a neutral field, I am going to take the Packers to cover the 4. If it was in New Orleans and it was that same spread, I think I would take the Saints. But being that it's a neutral field, I think Rodgers is going to have something to prove this year. You know, and you guys know if you watch my channel, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. Rodgers had a lot to prove last year. I knew he had a lot to prove last year. He won the MVP. He was pissed off when they drafted Jordan Love. And I think he's going to go out there even more motivated this year to make the Packers look like fools again before he goes off and to whatever team he may go to. I think Rodgers coming into this year motivated. He may even win back-to-back MVPs. I think he goes to New Orleans, even though it's not in New Orleans, and he does cover that spread. I like the Packers by about a touchdown against the New Orleans Saints to open up the season. The Saints defense has lost some key pieces, and I do think Rodgers could take advantage of that. Next up, Rams, Chicago Bears. Rams are favored by 7.5, and I think the game's in Chicago. I'm almost positive the game's in Chicago. They're going to be starting Dalton in this game. Now, obviously as Giants fans, we have a big rooting interest in this game. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I am going to, if the Giants win, only if the Giants win. Because if the Giants lose, and they're going to win, we're not going in pessimistic. But if they ever lose, I'm not going to stream the game. But if the Giants win, and I have the energy, we're going to do a double stream on Sunday. I'm going to stream the Chicago Bears game because we have a lot of rooting interest for the Chicago Bears to lose, being that we have their draft pick this year. So I'll definitely have my eyes out for Chicago Bears games this year. But the Bears going to L.A., Rams favored by 7. I'm sorry, in Chicago, Rams favored by 7.5. I think the Rams are a much better football team. I've come out and said that I think the Rams might be my pick to go to the Super Bowl. You know, they get Matthew Stafford. I'm super excited to see how he does with Sean McVay. I've always felt that he was like, even though he had some help at the beginning of his year with Calvin Johnson, they never had a running game. They never had that strong of a defense. I think Stafford is finally equipped to have a team that he could really compete to win a Super Bowl. I do think the Rams are one of the most talented teams in football, and his supporting cast is unbelievable now with the LA Rams. But the thing is, the Bears are home, and their defense is good. Their defense is legit. And I do think they could keep the Rams at bay. The Rams are going to win. But I look at last year with the New York Giants, and again, it was with Goff. It wasn't with Stafford. But we were able to keep them in check. And the fact it's in Chicago and they're getting 7.5, I think it's a half point too many. I like the Bears getting 7.5. I think the Rams are going to win. But I could see it being, 4-point, 6-point, 7-point game. I think the Bears cover, but the Rams win. I think the Bears defense keeps them in check. But I'm going to go with the Rams to win, Bears to cover. It's in L.A.? Why did I think it was in Chicago? Then I misread it. It's in L.A.? Scratch that. Never mind. If it was, okay, scratch all of that. Rams cover. I thought it was in Chicago. Okay, scratch all of that then. Rams cover. Rams win. Rams by 10. Maybe, yeah, Rams by 10. I still think the Bears have a good defense. I still think they're not going to get completely obliterated and blown out. But the fact it's in L.A., I'll say Rams by 10. They cover the 7.5. I thought it was in Chicago. I don't know why I thought it was in Chicago. So I'll go Rams by 10. I'll say they cover the 7.5. Josh, man, and they just told me it's in L.A. So there you go. My mistake. That's what happens sometimes when you're live. So my mistake. What's going on there, Bradley, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. And then finally, last game on the docket. You got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Baltimore Ravens. This is another game that I absolutely love this week. I know that the Ravens have had some injuries. I know they lost their running back. Gus Edwards, I think, is going to be the starter. They lost J.K. Dobbins for the year. The game's in Las Vegas. And maybe you want to talk about how the Raiders are going to be a little bit extra amped up, being that it's the first game in the history of the Las Vegas Raiders where fans could actually go to the game. So maybe there's a little bit extra energy in the stadium. Maybe you want to say that. the Raiders suck. I don't know if you're a Raiders fan watching this. The Raiders suck, man. And you lost like 3/5 of your offensive line. I know Carr was decent last year. I've seen a couple of people tell me they think the Raiders could be sleepers this year. I think the Raiders are going to have a top 5 pick. And I don't understand how Baltimore's only favored by 4.5. I think the Raiders are complete trash this year. I'm looking forward to when the Giants play them. But I think the Ravens are going to blow their doors off. Matter of fact, I'm going to say the Ravens win by 2 touchdowns. Give me the Ravens by 14 on the road in Las Vegas. I'm pretty confident the Ravens are going to cover that spread. And I'm not a bettor. That's just my honest opinion. I hate that matchup for the Raiders. And Troy says Raiders might have the worst run D, not a good matchup. For you, I love it, Troy. I hate that matchup for the Raiders. And 4.5 points to me is not near enough against Lamar Jackson and your football team. I think the Ravens are going to beat them comfortably. So there you go. The 3 or 4 games that I absolutely love. I love that last game we just talked about. I love the Ravens to cover the 4.5. I'm not even going to talk about the Giants. I'm going to talk about them throughout the week. You know I picked them. But I love the Ravens to cover the 4.5. I love the Vikings to cover the 3 against Cincinnati. And there was what was the other game that I loved? There was the game I said earlier. It was one of the earlier games. Those 2 games in particular. Oh, the 49ers. I love the 49ers, even though they're in Detroit, favored by 7.5. So I think those are my 3 locks. I love the 49ers, 7.5 in Detroit, Baltimore 4.5 in Vegas, and the Vikings at home against Cincinnati, favored by 3. Those are the 3 spreads that I like the most. If I was a betting man this week, and yeah, there was a couple of over-unders that I really liked as well. Sorry, man, thank you very much. Now you just made me nervous about taking Josh Jacobs. Well, the thing is, Josh Jacobs will still do all right because they're going to have to commit to the run. They're still going to run the football. They'll still get his 1,000 yards. The thing is, I think the Raiders are going to be playing from behind, so Carr's going to have to throw maybe a little bit more, but he's still going to be a decent running back. I don't think he's going to be a horrible running back for you this year. He is what he is. He's like the 15th, 20th best fantasy running back? That's what he'll be. But I just don't think the Raiders are going to be a very good football team this year. I think they're going to struggle. And yeah, I like the Minnesota game, Fabian, a lot. Vladimir Putin says, I love the Broncos. Oh, Mr. Putin. Mr. Putin. 3-point favorite on the road. I don't know, man. As much and I'm not, trust me, and you'll see it in my preview video, I respect the Broncos. I do think fans are overhyping them a little bit. Like, they won 5 games last year. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I know they improved their defense, but Teddy Bridgewater, is that really your savior? Is that your guy that's going to take that team to the next level? I know they got a receiver back as well. I know they got pieces. I know they're an improved team. I don't know. They don't scare me. Not at home, man. Not at home. What's up, BB13? Simon says, you see, I'm slow and forgot they lost 3 of their old linemen. Well, Simon, man, running backs in fantasy football this year are so thin. Once you get past like the top 12 or 15, it's still not a bad pick. Broncos and Giants are basically the same team. They are very similar. But the fact the Giants are at home, it makes me like the Giants in that game. But they are very similar. Both their teams are very strong secondaries. They're built around their defense. They have questionable offensive lines, and they have questionable quarterbacks. Obviously, Daniel Jones, you have to think has a higher ceiling than that of Bridgewater, even though you're not a fan of Daniel Jones. He's got more potential. We know what Bridgewater is. Bridgewater's a guy that has 15 touchdowns, his career high. He's got two games in his entire career where he's thrown more than 3 touchdowns. Actually, more than 2 touchdowns, I should say. So he is what he is. He's a game manager. He's a guy that's going to try to limit mistakes. He's not going to make big plays. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens on Sunday. Let's see. Giants have to prove they're good. I agree with that. Giants definitely have to prove they're a good team. It's been 3 miserable years with the New York Giants. Dalvin Cook to the moon. I drafted Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook's going to be a monster this year. I'll be at this game Sunday. Can't wait. That's awesome. Bad Dog, I'm not Bad Dog, but maybe Bad Dog's in the chat. Bad Dog, would you rather Daniel Jones have a Josh Allen type year or Saquon have a Derrick Henry? Oh, that's easy. That's easy, Arian. That's not even close, man. BB13 says, can you run down the pick so I can bet Oppo, please? I'll talk about your Cowboys game, BB13. But no, as far as the Bad Dog comment, I assume you were talking to me. You got to go with the quarterback. I love Saquon Barkley. He's my favorite player on the team, but you got to go with the quarterback. Daniel Jones has a breakout year. You got a lot of hope for the team going forward. But BB13, as far as your Cowboys go, they're going to get destroyed. And I hope you tune in the stream tomorrow. But yeah, you guys are going to get destroyed. Now, you may cover. Like, you may convince yourself at the end of the game, BB13, you may say to yourself, well, we only lost to the Bucs by 7. We played them competitive. We didn't have Zach Martin. You may convince yourself that at the end of the night. But you're going to be down by double-digit scores going into the winning minutes of that game. I could see a backdoor cover for the Dallas Cowboys because that's what you guys do a lot last year. You got your garbage time touchdowns. You'll be down by 14 with about 5 minutes to go. Whether or not you get that garbage time touchdown remains to be seen. But the Bucs are going to win, and they're going to be well in control of that game the entire second half. They're just a much better football team, and you're missing Zach Martin. So I'm confident that your Dallas Cowboys will start 0-1, and I'm looking forward to calling the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Damn, a live stream about a non-contender. What's up there, Robert Jackson? Man, thanks for popping in, buddy. And BB13 says, wow. So you think you're going to win? You think you're beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Ooh, I want what you're drinking, man. Keep that same energy when the Cowboys win. I hope you're in the stream tomorrow so we could talk about it and how much they're winning tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Vladimir Putin says, you better hope we lose. What's up there, Sean G, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Tana looking cute. Neil, I hope you're female. But I appreciate you popping in the stream, Neil. Let's see. So Waddle over Golladay week 1 at flex. What's going on, Jack, man? The thing is, I don't keep up with the Dolphins. I don't know how big of a role Waddle's going to have. He's a rookie. It's a bit of an unknown there. They're playing the Patriots. I don't think Galladay's going to... I think you got to go with Golladay. Because even if Galladay's not going to have a huge game and he's going up against a great secondary, I still think he's going to get targets in the red zone. I still think he's going to have an opportunity to catch a touchdown or two. Waddle, I don't know what his role is going to be. Like, and again, maybe he's been great in preseason. I haven't been keeping up with the Dolphins. I don't know what his role is going to be. Week 1, before you know that, I think Galladay's the safer play. Let's see what we got. Let's send the dogs after Teddy. That's right, man. What player props do you have? I didn't see any player prop bets, but maybe we'll go over that tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't look at that, Jose. But maybe we'll look at that tomorrow during the game. That's something fun. Maybe I'll start a little bit early and we'll go over some of the player props and everything else for the game. I'm looking forward to calling the game. It's going to be my first football game since the Super Bowl. So, regular season game. So I'm looking forward to calling it. And let's see what we got. I respect Dallas, but I think they're overhyped. Their defense is nowhere near good enough, much improved, but not good. We'll see, man. And Aiden, man, what's going on, man? Sup, Chris? Kyle Pitts to the moon. I love Kyle Pitts. I think he's going to be a good player. I still hate the pick. I don't think it was the right pick for the Atlanta Falcons, but I think they should have either taken a quarterback or went offensive line. But Kyle Pitts is going to be really good. No denying it. We'll see how they do week 1. Golladay is going to be a dog this year. I can't wait about that. This week, though, if you're talking fantasy, I'm not in love with Golladay this week for obvious reasons, right? He has no chemistry with Jones. You're going against Denver, their secondary, but I just think he's a safer option. Maybe he's got another option other than Waddle, but I think he's a safer option than Waddle because you don't know his role. What's up there, Omni Nation, man? He says, one upset this week if you had to bet on a game. Okay, so we're just talking straight up. Let me take a quick look at the games right now. Week 1 NFL games, just so I could tell you which is my favorite potential upset. Week number 1. But not Dallas. If Washington counts as an upset, Washington, they're getting 1 point though, so I don't count that. I don't think the Jets will upset Carolina. I don't think the Bengals will upset Minnesota. Arizona. I'm going to go with Arizona, man. Yeah, I'm going to go with Arizona. I like Arizona as a potential upset candidate. But let's see. And the Giants. I'm not even going to say the Giants because it's my team. I don't want to sound like a homer. So we will go away from my team. I like Arizona. That's my upset pick this week. I like Arizona to potentially upset the Tennessee Titans. I don't like the Titans defense this year. I'll go with Arizona as my upset pick. Brandon, he says, I like the Giants plus 2.5. Seahawks minus 3. Washington plus 1.5. Atlanta minus 3. Carolina minus 5.5. Miami versus New England is tough for me. Bears versus Rams spread is iffy. Yeah, the problem, the reason that the Bears spread was iffy for me, Brandon, is I thought the game was in Chicago. So I broke down the whole game, and then I was talking as if it was in Chicago, and I took the Bears because I thought it was at home. When I found out it was in L.A., I changed my tune. I actually like the Rams to cover the 7.5, but you got to respect the Bears defense, Brandon. I'm in agreement with you on that. They could easily cover that spread. I wouldn't bet on that game. I could see it being like a 7-point. I think the Rams will win, but I could see the Bears keeping that competitive. New England's tough too. I wouldn't bet on that game. I like New England to win by around a field goal. Carolina, I love. That's another game I love. We were talking about games I love. I omitted that one. I love Carolina going against the Jets. And no disrespect to the Jets. I'm excited to see the Jets this year. Like I said earlier, I think Zach Wilson's one of the guys I'm really looking forward to watching this year. But rookie quarterback, Robert Salah has never coached a game. Sam Darnold, I don't know who benefits there, Darnold or the Jets, but Darnold's got a little bit more motivation, I guess, to try to prove his team wrong. Yeah, I just like Carolina in that game. I'm with you on that. I think they'll cover that 5.5. Atlanta, well, I like that. I hope they cover. I think it'll be right around that 3 points. Washington plus 1.5. Obviously, I like the Giants. Yeah, I love Washington. That was one of the other games that I love. There's a couple of people, and obviously it's a Giants chat, so you're going to get that. Obviously, I don't love Washington. I want the Chargers to win, but I love Washington to win this week. I think, and the main reason being, Herbert's in a new scheme. You're traveling across the country. It's not just Herbert. It's a brand new coach, a brand new defensive scheme. The Chargers, their offensive line to be going up against that pass rush, I don't know. I think that's like a recipe for disaster. So I was a little bit surprised, even though Curtis Samuel was out in that game, that Washington was a home dog. I thought Washington would at least be a 2 or 3 point favorite. So I like Washington in that game as well. Your Seattle Seahawks, I think I picked 2. I took Seattle narrowly against the Colts. I think that'll be a close game, but I think I did take them slightly to cover. But Brandon, man, thank you very much. One son says, I'm going to be there at the Giants game week 1. Are you or bad? I am not going to be there week 1. I might be there week 3. I'm definitely going to be there for the Eagles game, but I will not be there week 1. I'll be calling the game on the channel week 1. I wish I was there. But I'll definitely be going to at least 1, probably 2 Giant games this year. So I'm looking forward to getting to meet some of you guys there, man. But one son, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. One son, no, your donation's not gone. It's on the screen. One son. It's right there, buddy. Do I wear the McKinney or the Bradbury jersey to week 3, Jack says. I'd go with the Bradbury. I'm excited about McKinney this year, man. But Bradbury, you know what you got. He's one of the defensive stalwarts. He's one of the leaders of this team. He's probably the best player on the team right now. I'd go with the Bradbury. Him and Barkley are probably the 2 best players, so I'd go with the Bradbury. But yeah, go with both if you can, like Jay Diamond said. Joseph says, Chris, I'm going week 1 Giants versus Broncos. I'm trying to figure out what the COVID-19 policy is, and let you know you went to FanFest. I don't know if it's changed, Joe, but when I went to FanFest, there was no testing. And when I go to Mets games, there's no there was testing when I first went to Mets games. I'm vaccinated, but and I think you had to be when I first was going. But now there's none. And that might have changed. I don't know that for a fact. But when I went to FanFest, they did not have testing or anything like that. What's going on there, Lou, man? Thanks for popping in the stream, buddy. Bet Giants 1 plus 135 for easy cash. J-Dog says, you're taking a money line, man. I'm taking the 3 points if I'm betting that game. I'm still taking the 3, but I do think the Giants will win outright. I watched you and Bader for every single Giants game last year and the year before. It's been all. I appreciate that, man. Bradbury's the red jersey. Then I think I go with the color rush, Jack. I love the color rush jersey. That's my favorite jersey. The Giants being good is good for football. New York sports in general, and at dusk, I know you tune in and I'm super excited for the Knicks streams this year too. But New York sports in general, like when the Knicks are good, it's good for the NBA. When the Giants are good, it's good for the NFL. It's a huge market. You have a ton of fans in New York. It's huge. Now, football, I think basketball, it's impacted more so because I feel like football, even if your team's bad, you're going to watch. You're going to get into the games, whether it's the Giants, whether it's basketball. I think it's really good for the NBA when the Knicks are good. But obviously, whenever a New York team is good, it's going to help the sport. It's the most passionate fans, probably there is. And there's a large portion of New York fans. So it's definitely good for the sport. Pack Rat Man, thank you very much. Stand up, new member. Pack Rat Man, thank you very much, buddy. And Joe says, caught COVID and can't take my girlfriend to the game this Sunday. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Is anyone interested in buying the tickets? Section 316, Giants side. Joe, do me a favor. If nobody responds to you, and Michael Robinson just said 100%. I don't know if you have a Twitter, Joe. If you do, message me on Twitter, and I'll retweet it out. If you're trying to sell the tickets, maybe you could do it that way. If that doesn't work, you could always sell them on StubHub. But if yeah, if you can't do it that way, I'll definitely retweet it out on Twitter and let people know if they're looking to go to the game. What's up, Dalia, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy. Really hope we're good, Tana. And something's in line week 18. I'll be there watching football team. Last game of the year, man. Tana, I'm a $200 fantasy football league, and my team is stacked, looking good for right now. Good luck, man. But yeah, man, Joe, hopefully you're able to sell those tickets. But if you follow me on Twitter, just let me know, and I'll definitely retweet it out. Can't wait to finally join some of these members. Yeah, man. Every Sunday just for an hour, but before the game, before I go live on YouTube, we're going to do them. So just make sure you follow the community notes. That's where I'm going to post it. But first one's going to be Sunday at like 11 for an hour, 11 to 12. Oh, no, the game's at 4:25. So like 2, maybe to 3 or something like that. What's up, Ali Khan? Can your Mets lose next series against the Yankees? We really, I never want to lose, man. I never want to lose. The Mets are done, though. I think they lost again tonight. They're done. Yankees are going to make the playoffs, though. Will they make the wild card? Will you be live tomorrow for the Cowboys game? Is the Pope Catholic? Does a bear shit in the woods? Of course I'm going to be live for the Cowboys game. You know that. Yeah, I'm going to be live for the Cowboys game. I'm going to be live for the Giants game. And I may or may not be live for the Bears game, depending on if the Giants win. If the Giants win, I'll end the stream, do my post-game video, and then go back live for the Bears game, being that that's a big game for the Giants. Anytime the Bears are on prime, I'm not sure I'm going to call it because we have a significant rooting interest. We want them to lose football games. So if we win, I will go back on live and call that game as well. If we lose, I'll relax and watch it from my couch. Mets will be better next year, Mark says. They can't be worse, man. They were severely disappointing this year. Danny Dimes or Barkley jersey at the game Sunday. Go with Jones. Go with Jones. Cressley says, Taney, you're a Jets fan. Yeah, I get that all the time. I'm a Yankees fan. They are atrocious. The Yankees haven't been playing well. You're still making the. I haven't been looking at the baseball standings. Let me take a quick look. Last I looked, you guys looked like you were going to make it. Right now, you're tied with Boston. You're going to make it. I mean, maybe not. Nah, you'll make it. You're 4 games up in the loss. 3-game lead. Yankees will make that. They'll get the wild card. But they're not playing well right now. No Twitter, but my Instagram is Ben being saved. Okay, so message me on there, man. And I'll try to help you out. They were atrocious. 113 in a row. The Blue Jays are, yeah, I know the Yankees haven't been playing well as of late. The Mets need to get by. I'm not a biased guy, man. And we'll see if they give it to. I'm not a biased guy. I'm just not. BB says, will you be rooting for the Bucs, although it may hurt the Giants' shot at the number 1 seed? Oh, this guy, man. This Cowboy fan over here, man. I'm glad BB13 is back in the chat. He's actually one of my favorite Cowboys guys that tunes into my live streams. Yes. I'm rooting for the Bucs to absolutely embarrass your football team, start to finish. If the Cowboys could lose by 100, I hope that they do. Absolutely. If it affects the number 1 seed, I'm still rooting for the Bucs tomorrow night. And Irishman, thank you very much. He says Dallas Cowboys fans are the most narcissistic and delusional fans in the NFL. They actually believe they are America's team. They make me sick. Go Giants, go Big Blue, 10-7. Man, I really appreciate that, Irishman. I'm gonna be. There's definitely there's fans of every fan base, and to me with the Cowboys, and this is just my personal point of view, it's more so the media than the actual fan base themselves. I feel like the media hypes them up way too much. And I think some Cowboys fans probably hate that. But I feel like every year they're hyped up a little bit more than they should be because they're America's team and the national media and yada, 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 yada. That, to me, I think is my bigger gripe with the Cowboys more so than just their fan base. Obviously, I like to lock heads with Cowboys fans whenever I can, but I think it's more so the media for me than anything else. What's up there, Milk the Cow, man? Thanks for popping in. Did you hear that Trayvon Diggs' son thought Dak Prescott? Yes, I saw that. I actually got to still watch the last episode of Hard Knocks. I didn't get to see that one yet. I watched the first 3 or 4. I didn't see the last one. They were hyped up in 2015 and went 4-12. Every time you turn on and fix the O-line, man, thank you very much. How many touches for Tony week 1? All right. Are we counting kick returns and punt returns or not? Because I do think I'll exclude that. because I do think he's going to probably be doing kick returns. I think Peppers will probably be doing punt returns. I'm going to go, I'll go like 6 touches. I think he's going to get like 2 or 3 carries maybe. Maybe a handoff in the backfield, maybe a wildcat, maybe a jet sweep, and maybe 2 or 3 catches. I'll say like 5 or 6 touches. I don't think he's going to be, pelleted with targets, but I think they're going to give him a few opportunities to try to break a big play. I'll go like 5 or 6 touches week 1 between carries and catches. And Yuri, man, thank you very much. Trayvon Diggs' son got the Ingram effect. Yuri, man. What's up, Yuri? Crazy how some fans are so upset that we lose, but root. Here's what I'll say, man. I don't understand it, man. I understand fans thinking that Jones can't be the guy, but at the end of the day, going into the year, if you're a Giants fan, you should be hoping it works out. Like, I think there are legitimately, like you said, some fans rooting for him to fail because they're like, I just want to draft a quarterback and I don't want him to be good so we could go out and draft the next guy, Rattler, and this and that. You should be rooting for him to succeed because at the end of the day, if Jones works out, we don't have to completely start over again. If Jones fails, we're going to suck till 2024. I'm telling you right now, we're completely starting all over again. So that I don't understand. I understand fans who doubt him and they're like, I don't think he's going to be the guy. But fans who are like, yeah, I hope he fails so we could just draft Spencer Rattler or we could draft, Willis or insert quarterback name here. That makes no sense to me. This is a guy that has not been supported since he's been in the NFL, and he's definitely got a lot of question marks, and I definitely understand why people doubt whether or not he could be the guy. But let's be real here, man. The majority of the fan base after year 1 was, I don't know if they were sold, but they were definitely optimistic. The guy threw 24 touchdowns in his rookie year in just 12 starts. He definitely had his faults. He fumbled the football, but he certainly showed big playability. He was the first rookie quarterback in the history of the NFL to have 3 games with 4 touchdown passes. There's some upside there. It's undeniable. He's got to work on some things, and you have to hope as a Giants fan with the pieces around him this year, with Barkley, with Golladay, and hopefully the line is adequate. He could take a big step up this year, man, but we'll see. Yeah, you never listen, man. Kevin, last year, half the fan base was saying tank for Trevor 2 games in. Like, what the hell, man? Chris, what's good, my man? What's going on there? Mark, man, thanks for popping in. Tana, do you think Saquon will be playing full games after week 3? Yeah, I think he's going to be playing full games by week 3. I would guess week 3 will be where you really start to see him get his full allotment of touches because he gets a long rest period there, right? Because we're playing Sunday and then we're playing Thursday, and then you got 10 days off. So I think week 3 is really where I think he's going to get where you're going to see the workload he's going to get this year. I think it's going to be in that game. I think they're going to, he'll probably get like 10 touches the first 2 games, and then he'll get whatever it's going to be, 20 touches. I don't know what his average touch rate's going to be this year, but I think that game going forward is where you're going to really start to see him being used in his full role in this offense. Chris, do you think a number 87 Shep jersey goes up or down in value if he stays for a couple more? I don't know much about jerseys in terms of value, Jay. I couldn't answer that question. Chris, if around week 4 we are clearly playing well and DJ is playing good, but our line is holding us back, are you willing to trade for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round picks to trade for linemen? I mean, Milk, here's what I'll say. Milk the Cow, that's a good name. Here's what I'll say, Milk the Cow. Rather than trade picks, I'm just drafting linemen. Like, we have the draft capital to do it. I'm drafting linemen. There's plenty of good offensive linemen that I could take in the first round. We got 2 first-round picks next year. We got a second-round pick. Why am I going to trade picks to bring in older offensive linemen rather than just draft guys with a lot of potential in the draft next year? I don't want to trade my draft capital. I'd rather just draft linemen and go that route. Now you're going to be bringing an offensive lineman that's already making a ton of money. Nah, that's not. And like I always say, teams are not looking to trade away good linemen. It's very rare that you see that unless they're upset with their current situation. So if I'm the Giants, man, I'm trying to establish a young core in this offensive line. I'm taking at least 1 first-round offensive lineman next year. And so, hi, man, thank you very much. What's going on, bro? Shep is going to have a 1,000-yard season. I could feel it. It's possible. He's never had that before. A lot of that has to do with injuries and obviously having, he's never been the number 1 guy, and he's not the number 1 guy this year. It's possible. I do think here's what I'm going to say, man. I think the top 2 guys in catches this year, and maybe some people disagree with this, I don't think Kenny Golladay is going to be in the top 2 guys in receptions for the New York Giants this year. I think Shepard and I think Barkley. I think those two guys will be the leading guys in terms of receptions for the New York Giants. I think Shepard will probably more than likely lead the team in catches. Barkley may be close, though, because you look at a lot of these game tape, the game film. I think they're going to use Barkley a lot in the passing game this year. I really do. I think they're going to try to create big plays out of the backfield. They're probably going to use him a little bit less as a runner, maybe more so as a receiver this year. I think he's going to get a good amount of catches. Everybody forgets his rookie year. I think he had like 91, 92 catches. I think Barkley's going to have a lot of catches this year. And I would say him and Shepard probably lead the team in receptions this year. But I could see it. If he stays healthy, I could definitely see 1,000 yards, especially in a 17-game season. I'll go like 80, 85 catches. I think they're going to throw a lot to Shepard this year on the slot. Hot Nichols, man, thank you very much. E, you think Evan Ingram can catch COVID? LOL, but for real, how do you think he looked in camp? I was impressed, actually. He would probably drop COVID if we're being honest with ourselves, man. And what's up, Master Man? I mean, listen, at least from what I read and the highlights that I saw, sure. I never get too involved with training camp reports, and obviously I read them and I discuss them. The main thing with training camp for me is always getting out of there healthy. There's been so many times with Evan Ingram as well that you hear great reports of training camp, and I don't want to get too high on the guy or anybody on the New York Giants. I want to see what they do in the regular season, so I'm not going to read too much into that. I have said I could see Ingram surprising this year, and it's only because he's not the focal point of the offense this year. He's like the fourth guy. And because of that, I could see him getting an opportunity to take advantage of mismatches. But he's also got to hold on to the football. And he's got to get on the field. I think he's going to miss at least the first couple of weeks with that calf injury. So we'll see. Regardless, he's not going to be on this football team after this year, especially after the injury. I can't see justifying that. And I was thinking about it today because I'm very happy that Sterling Shepard is back. Sterling Shepard is one of my favorite players on this team. But I was a little bit surprised that the Giants did that, to be completely honest with you. But then I thought about it, and I said, all right, well, they're going to get Ingram out of the offense. They're going to have more of a traditional tight end, and maybe that's why they're bringing Shepard back. Now you're going to have Shepard, you're going to have Tony, and you're going to have Galladay. And those are going to be your three primary pass catchers more than likely. Darius Slayton as well. I'm not as high on Darius Slayton this year as maybe some Giants fans may be. I think he's going to ultimately end up being the fourth wide receiver by year's end. We'll see. I know Cop Pizzle loves him, and I'm sure some Giants fans love him, but I think he's going to, especially now that we found out that Sterling Shepard got extended. Not extended, but he more guaranteed that he's going to be here the following year. I think Slayton's going to kind of get pushed out of that rotation by year's end, and going into next year, he's probably going to be the fourth wide receiver, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to see Shepard next year. Do you think Thomas would play better on the right side and maybe draft another tackle? Sports biased. By year's end, they'll be able to tell you whether or not I think that's a good option or not. I want to give him the year on the left side. I know a lot of people saw that preseason game and they're flipping out and they're going crazy because he looked lost, and I get it. I completely understand where everybody's coming from. He looked horrible against the New England Patriots, so I completely get that. But the way I look at it, man, I think we got to give him the year. I think he got much better last year on the left side. The last 8 games, he had a hiccup here or there. He looked bad against the Patriots, but you don't know with preseason. It's very hard to judge. He's got I think he had a different guard out there than he's going to normally have. He's probably working on things in terms of technique that he's working on with the new offensive line coach, Rob Sale. You don't know what Rob Sale is telling him going into the game. Listen, I want you to work on this thing specifically. It's why I don't really want to judge Thomas until I really get to see him in a regular season game. It's very hard for me to judge players in the preseason. Now, was I left underwhelmed and concerned at the end of that game? Yes, I'm not going to lie to you, but I want to give him this year, and I want to see how he can progress as a left tackle. I still think he could be a very good tackle in this league. I'm not going to jump off a bridge. He showed promise last year, and there was a lot of, you think about last year with Thomas, like it was a disaster. A brand new scheme, a new quarterback and a new scheme. He had 2 different guards playing next to him. He had 2 different offensive line coaches. Now he's got his 3rd offensive line coach. So I'm going to give him a real opportunity this year to prove whether or not he can handle that left side, and hopefully he can. And maybe he comes out a little sluggish, but I do think by year's end, he's going to have a good year for the Giants on the left side. I'm still on the Andrew Thomas train. Let's see. Hey, and I just got here. What's going on there? Cole Manning's popping in. Zahai, man, thank you very much. Kenny is definitely a number 1 wide receiver, but he's a top 15 to 20 amongst his peers. You guys think he could ever be a top 2 in the next few years? I don't look at him as an upper echelon wideout. No. He's never going to be a top 2 wide receiver. I think the attraction for Golladay, and I like Golladay a lot, but yeah, I think he's right around where you said, 15 to 20. But I think the attraction for Golladay for the Giants, and obviously they were very interested in him in season last year too. You know, you remember that Jahai when we were rumored to wanting to be trading for him. But I really think the attraction is he really fits this scheme very well. You know, the Air Coryell scheme, you think about the old Dallas Cowboys teams with Des Bryant, with Miles Austin. It was always those tall 6'3", 6'4" guys that could go up and catch the 50-50. That's what Kenny Golladay is. And I think that was the attraction for the New York Giants. I think he's a really good scheme fit for the offense that Jason Garrett wants to run. And Jones needed that tall threat at the wide receiver position. We all know one of the strengths for Daniel Jones is his accuracy on the deep ball. Now you have a guy that could go up and catch the deep ball, right? So I think it was a really good fit. I think that's why they brought him in. Do I ever think he could crack the top 5? No. I mean, there's some incredible receivers in this league. DeAndre Hopkins, so many great receivers. I don't think he'll ever be at that level, but I think he's a really good wide receiver, and it's something that'll definitely help this offense. And Tyler, man, thank you very much. Who would you pick if we had a top 3 pick because of the Bears? Again, I'll tell you a guy that I love, but that's impossible for me to tell you right now because I don't know what our needs are going to be at the end of the year. But a guy I got my eye on right now is Evan Neal. I mean, my God. I had a number of subscribers of mine on Twitter to say, take a look at this guy. Holy crap. And it's one game, man, but when you watch this guy's highlights, he is 350 pounds, and you guys know that I like to dream about 350-pound men. I'm always thinking about the offensive line, the hog mollies. He's 350 pounds. He's massive. That is a hog that is going to go top 5 in next year's draft. And if we get that high of a pick from the Chicago Bears, I got my eyes at Evan Neal. I think that guy's going to be good, man. And you pair him with Andrew Thomas, at that point you probably move Thomas over to the right side. But yeah, he looked impressive, man, and he's an athletic freak. There's no doubt about it. So he's 360. Okay, if we had a top 3 pick right now, that's who I want. That's who I want. He's an offensive tackle, sports biased. We were paying him like a top 5 guy. I don't see how Giants fans could be. Well, here's the thing, sports influencer. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He says we're paying him like a top 5 guy. I don't see how Giants fans could be okay with him putting up top 15 to 20 numbers when he's being paid as a top 5 guy. This is why I'm okay with the sports influencer. Whenever you sign a guy in free agency, especially a guy that is the best guy at his position in that year's free agency class, which Golladay was, you're going to overpay. That's just the way it works. When, you think about quarterbacks at the open market. Matthew Stafford at one point was the highest paid quarterback in football. Carson Wentz at one point in time was the highest paid quarterback in football. Kenny Golladay hit the market when he was the best available wide receiver in free agency. So you're always going to pay more than what the player is actually worth when you're bringing in a premium player at a position in the free agency class. So you know that going in. But it was such a big need for the New York Giants that it's kind of like the Nate Solder thing. Obviously, we hope it works out a lot more than Nate Solder. But when the Giants signed Nate Solder, he was the highest paid left tackle in football. And Giants fans were happy about it because we knew we needed a left tackle. But we knew he wasn't going to be the best left tackle in football. We were like, all right, if he's a top 10 left tackle, that's going to fill a major need for this team. Go out there, get it done. So that's why, man. I think it was a huge need, and he's definitely going to be a big help for Daniel Jones. So that's why, man. You always pay, you overpay in free agency when you pay for a top tier talent. So that's my answer to you, man. Hey, Chris, it's been so long. I've been busy with school, and other crap. I'm finally back. How you been? And go G-Man. Also, why aren't we talking about the Kadarius Toney? He's a first-round pick. Why aren't we talking about Kadarius? He hasn't been on the field, for one. I mean, he didn't play in preseason, but I'm excited about Toney. I am. I'm excited about Toney. I'm excited to see what he can bring to this offense week 1, how the New York Giants are going to use him in this offense, all the different ways that we're going to move him around on the field. And he's definitely a big play threat, man. And I'm going to be super excited to see how the Giants use him week 1, man. Listen, man, everybody knows I wanted the hog. After they traded down to 20 or 21 or whatever it was, when we took Toney, I even mentioned him before we drafted him. He's one of the 4 or 5 guys I mentioned. I liked him. So I like Toney. I think he fits our scheme. He's had some hiccups along the way during the preseason. I know some Giants fans are nervous, but I think he's going to help this offense. I'm looking forward to seeing Toney out on the football field on Sunday. Grimman, thank you very much. Fear with Jones is he won't ever be a top 10 quarterback. His arm talent is average to slightly above average. I would agree with that. I think his arm strength is. I think it's above average, but I think it's slightly above average. I agree with that. I don't think he has an incredible arm. And he's a poor processor. Can't pay average quarterback help. Yeah, Grim. Listen. I have to be a man of my word. I would look like a hypocrite if I wasn't. And listen, when you're a Giants fan, and I always say I'm going to be slightly biased, but if I'm going to say that the Dallas Cowboys made a mistake paying Dak Prescott the amount of money that they did, I can't then be like, yeah, the Giants should give Daniel Jones a second contract if he's not better than what Dak Prescott was. I am not for paying a quarterback that I think is average or slightly above average, top tier money, because like you said, when you do that, you put yourself in a really tough position. It's very hard to win when a quarterback takes up that amount of salary. Now, if he wins a Super Bowl, you pay him his money, and we're hoping Daniel Jones matures into more than that. I personally think Dak Prescott, a lot of people look at the stats and and again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm a Giants fan. Cowboys fans watch this and be like, Chris, you're crazy. I look at Dak Prescott. I think he's slightly above average. You know, people say he's a top 10 quarterback. That's probably true, but I think that has to do with the fact that there's a lot of young quarterbacks coming into the league. I look at Dak Prescott. Let's call a spade a spade. His last 21 starts with a great supporting cast, he's 10-11. His last 2 years in the NFL, he's beaten 2 teams with a record over 500, and he has not beaten a team in the NFL with double-digit wins. And he's had all the help around him on offense. And now you go and pay him that kind of money? Yeah, they'll stay relatively competitive, but do I ever think the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl with the amount of money they're paying Dak Prescott? No, I don't. I think Dak Prescott puts up stats, but I don't think he's good enough to put your team over the top. So if I'm going to think that about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, well, if Daniel Jones is not better than Dak Prescott, how could I then say that I think it's in the Giants' best interest to give Daniel Jones a mega contract? He's got to prove he's better than Dak Prescott for me to be willing to give him that money. So that's just my opinion, man. But, you know, we'll see. Get the 200. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell, man. I appreciate that, buddy. Dak wasn't worth the money. He's overrated. But listen, people who look at stats and Cowboys fans are going to say you're crazy, but that's just my opinion, man. I've always thought Dak was good. He's not great. Did you see Bradley Chubb got arrested? Yeah, but he's going to play. He's going to play, man. Quarterbacks aren't great on arm talent with their work ethic and brains. DJ could I agree with that. Super. I agree. He could easily end up being a top 10 quarterback. Got to see the next 2 years. We got to see how he grows as a quarterback. The jury's not out for me, but he's got to get much better. That's all. Are any of you scouting quarterbacks in this draft? I'm not worried about quarterbacks right now, Christopher Taylor. I really think that Jones is going to be the quarterback next year. That going in, that's my mindset. I think he's going to be the quarterback in 2022. I look at the next year's quarterback draft class. Everybody said, you know, this is the way I look at next quarterback draft class. If there is not a slam dunk pick and Jones gets even a little bit better, I think it's in the best interest of the Giants to stick with Jones another year. And if Jones doesn't get much better off of that and you like the next quarterback draft class, you draft the quarterback. Because if say you know, and we know that Giants fans are going to convince themselves and fall in love with a quarterback if they feel like we got to move on from Daniel Jones. But the worst thing, in my opinion, that you could do is force a quarterback pick. And if there is not a slam dunk quarterback, you're kind of falling into a similar trap in 2019 when everybody was saying it's not a strong quarterback draft class and we took a quarterback. Well, is it in the best interest to do that again or to hope that Daniel Jones could progress, give him another year and see if he could grow? And if he doesn't, then maybe the following year is a much stronger draft class. That's my mindset. And I understand you have 2 first-round draft picks and the ability to trade up. Unless you're completely bought in to a quarterback, I'm not doing it. I'm not, as long as Daniel Jones progresses a little bit this year. Because then you end up with another quarterback for 3 or 4 years that you have to commit to that may not have the great upside that we're talking about. You could get a stopgap sports bias. That's another option. But I don't want to force a draft pick. They have to be completely sold on the quarterback. Stand up, bro. Please tell me, who do you think is a player to play NFL and MLB this time of era like Bo Jackson was? What do you mean? Somebody who I could see doing both? Oh, man. I don't think it'll happen. It hasn't. I mean, Deion Sanders did it. Bo Jackson did it. Brian Jordan did it. I don't think it'll happen, man, nowadays. I'd be surprised if that ever happened again. Maybe it will, but in terms of a player capable, I don't know, Aaron Judge. Guy's built like a tank. But I don't think it'll happen. I don't see two-sport athletes anymore. I don't see it. Kyler Murray, there's a good one. He should have been a baseball player. That's a good one. The Oakland A's actually drafted him, so that's a good one, actually. I forgot about Kyler Murray, but it didn't happen. But you're right. Kyler Murray could have been. You're absolutely right about that. Irish Rover, man, thank you very much, man. As long as Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys, and when I say I can't see it, it's not because I can't see athletes doing it. I just don't see athletes wanting to do it. I don't see athletes wanting to play two sports. If I'm an athlete, I'm focusing on one sport and trying to make as much money as I can in that sport. I'm picking the better of the two sports. Irish Rover says, as long as Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys, they will never win a Super Bowl. Well, I mean, to be fair, man, they've won a Super Bowl with Jerry Jones. But what I will say, I think Jerry Jones' ego is a big problem in Dallas. And I give Dallas a lot of credit. I think Dallas, in terms of evaluation of players over the last 10 years, has been very good. I think they've drafted very well. I think they've handled their contracts for the most part pretty well. I don't like the way they handled the Dak contract, but I think they've drafted pretty well. I think that they analyze talent via the drafts pretty well. But Jerry Jones, to me, is stubborn. I think he's got an ego. I think that's why Jason Garrett stayed on as long as he did. It's obviously why they fired Jimmy Johnson and brought on Barry Switzer. So I do think Jerry Jones is a major problem with the Dallas Cowboys. I do. I think he has a big ego. I do think they draft well, but I think he has a big ego. Are you taking Tiki or Jacobs? Tiki, man. Brendan Jacobs, one of my 5 or 6 favorite Giants of all time, but Tiki Barber's the greatest Giant running back of all time. I mean, the guy's the leading rusher. The guy, people don't realize this. And I know Giants fans don't like Tiki, and I hated the way he treated Coughlin and Eli on the way out. But Giants fans don't realize this, man. Eli Manning, when he was struggling in his second year in 2005, the New York Giants had the 3rd best offense in football. That was because of Tiki Barber. That was because of the offensive line. Eli Manning was still wet behind the ears, still struggling as a quarterback. Tiki Barber was a beast. For 3 or 4 years, you could argue that Tiki Barber was the best running back in football. So I'd have to go with Tiki Barber over Brandon Jacobs. Who is our starting tight end for week 1? It's going to be Caden Smith, and obviously Kyle Rudolph. Evan Ingram's not going to play. Caden Smith and Kyle Rudolph will be the starters. And I expect to see a lot of 2 tight end sets as well. Saquon better than Tiki? In terms of talent, he is. You could argue that for sure, but he's got to prove it. I mean, Tiki Barber rushed for over 10,000 yards. Tiki Barber's a damn good running back. Barber's got to stay healthy. Saquon's got to stay healthy. Bill, man, thank you very much. He says, I nominate Dave Gettleman to replace Jerry Jones. Bill, man, you have no idea, Bill, how much, you guys know if you watch my channel, and I'm definitely not as warm on Dave Gettleman as I've been in the past. I try to stick up for Dave, since he's been with the Giants when I feel it's appropriate, because I do think he got the run of a deal. I think he did get a tough deal with the Giants, and I really wanted to give him a real opportunity and be patient. And you have no idea, Bill, how much I want this to work this year. I would love at the end of the year to make the Giants win 12 games and to make a video, all capital letters, thank you, Dave Gettleman, with 7 exclamation points. I would love to do that. But Bill, I'm going to tell you right now, if the Giants offensive line is bad this year, sayonara. Who's next? Who's next? Ain't no defending him after this year if this offensive line's still bad. So I hope it works out, man. I've tried to support Dave all along the way when I felt like I could, or when I felt like I should. But it's put up or shut up time, man. It's put up or shut up time this year, man. Your Tiki assessment was spot on. I appreciate that, Eric, man. Hey, Tiki Man was great. I named my dog Tiki, Eric. As much as I hated what Tiki did on the way out, you guys know Eli Manning's my favorite player of all time. I love Tom Coughlin to death. I hated what Tiki did on the way out. But at the end of the day, man, Tiki Barber's a major reason why I fell in love with the New York Giants. He was the first player I fell in love with. Absolutely loved watching him play, and he was an incredible player for the Giants. JD Sports Talk, man, thank you very much, man. Tana, how pumped are you for tomorrow? Tampa Bay versus Dallas. Oh, I'm pumped. JD, man, what's going on? I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun, though, because, JD, I figure by, the I don't know, late third quarter, early fourth quarter, we'll be talking about movies. We'll be talking about girls because it's going to be boring. Cowboys will be down by what, like 40 points? So it'll be fun. It'll be a relaxed stream the last quarter or so. I'll probably be 3 or 4 beers deep. I'll be hanging out with you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing the Cowboys get an absolute ass whooping tomorrow night, first game of the year. I want Tom Brady. If you play daily fantasy football tomorrow, make sure that you start Tom Brady. Tom Brady might throw for 6 touchdowns against that Dallas secondary. I can't wait till he lights him up. Yeah, I'm gonna wear the red hoodie on Sunday. I was gonna wear it tonight, but I was like, it's just too hot, man. I know I'm gonna be sweating during the Giants game, but you gotta wear it for that. It's good luck. It'll definitely be out there. BB13 says, relax. JD says, week 1 most intriguing matchup outside of the NFCs. That's a good question. By the way, guys, check out JD Sports Talk. I watched like the first 5 or 6 minutes of your video. I gotta watch the rest of it before I went live. He's got a really good channel. I've been on his channel a couple times. Definitely check him out. Great supporter of mine. But let me take a quick look at the scores week 1. I'll tell you my most intriguing matchup outside of the NFC East. I think, you know what, man? I don't even think I got to look. I think I know. I think it's Browns Chiefs. Yeah, I think that's by far the best game when I really look at it. It's Browns Chiefs. Gotta be, right? Yeah, Browns Chiefs. That's the best game outside of the division. Maybe you could argue Cowboys Bucks, but that's in the division. It's got to be Browns Chiefs. I mean, last year the Browns and Chiefs, they're 2 of the top 3 or 4 teams in the AFC. So that's a really good game. And if there's one team that I do think matches up well with the Chiefs, it is the Browns because of their ability to control the clock with their offensive line and their ground game. So that'll be a really good game, Browns Chiefs. I think that's the best game. Wentz versus Seattle's intriguing. That's a decent game. I'm excited to see Wentz actually with Indianapolis this year. And the other game I'll say, in terms of storylines, JD, not in terms of like quality of teams, and I said it earlier, I think the Jets-Panthers is a cool game. Darnold going up against his old team. Matt Rule, Jets fans wanted him as their head coach. I think that's a cool, obviously the Jets aren't going to be very good this year, but I think that's a good storyline as well, week 1. Yeah, Wentz is playing, Timothy. From what I read, he's a full go. Tana, when Jones plays well this year, do you think Jones's haters will say, well, it's only 1 year, just like they did with Leonard Williams? Let him at the end of the day. I mean, listen, man, if Daniel Jones has a great year this year, I'm going to be obnoxious. With all the hate he's had thrown his way this offseason by both Giant fans and just NFL fans in general. Trust me, man, I've taken screenshots all over Twitter. I've got the ammo ready. If Daniel Jones has a good year this year. I've come out and said my bold prediction this year is Daniel Jones is going to throw 30 touchdowns. I might have egg on my face by the end of the year. I think Daniel Jones is going to have a good year. And I'm going to stick to it. And I'm looking forward to him hopefully proving the haters wrong, man. Let's see. Yo, the Discord still exists. The Discord still exists, man. What's up there, Taco Man? Thanks for popping in. Oh, I got screenshots, man. I've been all over Twitter. I've been snapping screenshots. It's all the fantasy people on Twitter. All the fantasy football people think Daniel Jones is going to suck. I got my receipts. And Afghanistan says that would be awesome, man. As obnoxious as Shermer was after the first game versus Tampa, that, I don't know what you're referring to there, but that to me is another really underrated storyline in this game for the Giants. Pat Shermer. And will they have an advantage? Because obviously Shermer knows a lot about Daniel Jones. He was part of obviously a major reason why we drafted Daniel Jones. We felt that he was going to fit the Shermer scheme. I'm sure Shermer had a lot to say about what quarterback he thought would fit his scheme with Dave Gettleman. So I think that's a good storyline as well. Will the Broncos have an advantage being that Shermer knows a lot about Daniel Jones? It'll be interesting. Or will the Giants have an advantage being that they're very familiar with the Pat Shermer offense? So we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to that storyline as well. Who should I start this week? Dak or Stafford? I mean, Dak's going to put up fantasy points. He's playing the Bucs. That'll be a high-scoring game. I'd go with Dak. I'd go with Dak because Stafford's playing the Bears. I'd go with Dak. I think Dak will get garbage points for you. He'll put up fantasy points. I'd go with Dak. Chris, this is a huge year for Thomas. You're the 4th overall pick. He needs to step up. No excuses for DJ. Same for Thomas. I agree. Andrew Thomas, the 4th pick. He's got to be much better this year. He's got to grow up with what he did in the second half. He can't be a complete disgrace. Now, he may come out a little sloppy. I'm going to give him the whole year, or at least half the year before I go crazy. You're not going to see me reactionary like Giants fans were last year after 3 games or 2 games, saying that a guy's a bust after his first 2 games in the NFL. I'm not going to do that to start the season. I'm going to give him some time before I go insane. But yeah, Andrew Thomas has to be much better this year. No doubt about it. What's up there, Big Blue in the Bronx, man? Thanks for popping in. No, Mahomes could not put up garbage points in the Super Bowl because they couldn't block. His tackles were horrible in that game. What's up there, Ordinary Pete, man? Do you think Nate Solder has a chance to return to a Pro Bowl tackle? No. But I do think Nate Solder could be better than people think. But no, not a Pro Bowl tackle. But I do think he could be an average right tackle. I'm not saying he will be, but do I think he could be? Yeah, I do think he could be. I wouldn't be shocked at all. We'll see. But I think that's a great storyline if it works out for Nate Solder. He would look like a real hero this year with the pay cut that he took to come back to the New York Giants when he didn't have to play. And maybe New York Giants fans would forgive him for that contract if he even provided average, adequate right tackle play this year. So we'll see. I'm rooting for Nate. As a person, I've always loved Nate. Nate's a leader. He's a great guy. I always felt bad for him with his kid. And it's not for lack of trying, right? It just didn't work out. His first year, he sucked the first 8 games. He was actually really good. People forget about that. The second 8 games that year, and he was pretty good to start 2019. And then the quarterback change, I think, had a lot to do with it. Having a rookie quarterback with Daniel Jones, right? That's an effect on the offensive line. And then, obviously, a sick kid at home, I think, had a lot to do with it as well. So, hopefully, Nate Solder could come back and perform average. But Pro Bowl, no. He's not returning to Pro Bowl form. If he does, I will gladly admit I was wrong. But I'm hoping he can be an average right tackle. And Pete, man, thank you very much. Hey, Jones Skeptic here. If he does, well, I'll be ecstatic. But I'll still say try to land a top 10 type guy. If Jones is what he's shown so far, he'll always need a stacked team around him. Well, so, Pete, maybe I'm misreading what you're saying here. You're saying if Jones does well this year, and I don't know what your measurement of well is, but if you're saying Jones does well this year, Giants win 10 games, they make the playoffs, you're still going to want to draft a quarterback? At that point, you got to give Jones another year, man. Let's give the kid a chance, man. Let's give the kid a chance. In my opinion, he's finally at least, he definitely doesn't have a perfect situation. I laugh when people tell me he has a perfect situation. He does not. The offensive line is still bad, but he has if he's going to be a good quarterback, he has a good enough situation to not be bad this year if he's going to be a very good quarterback. So let's see what he does with the pieces that are in place, with more familiarity in the scheme, and let's see if he could grow and become a better quarterback. I agree. This team is nowhere near stacked. I know. That's why I laugh. I laugh when people say that. He definitely doesn't have a perfect situation. But if you haven't done so, 280 likes. Smash the like, Hot Nickel says. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. I'm going to be live tomorrow night. I'm going to be calling the Thursday night game. We're going to be live Friday night with Bad Dog for Talking Giants on this channel. Saturday, like I'm going to be doing before every game, I'm going to be doing a night stream with you guys the night before the game. We did that all year last year. I'm going to have some other YouTubers on as well. I think JD Sports Talk, if he's free, is going to be on that, along with a couple of others. And we're going to have you guys video call in as well. We're going to have a couple of you guys. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. So we're going to be live the next 3 nights. And Sunday, of course. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm going to be live recapping the game. I'm going to be doing that this year as well. Having like a Monday morning or Monday afternoon live stream, just talking about the day before his game. So we'll be live a lot the next couple of days. So thank you to everybody for being here. If you haven't done so, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. Lemieux not being legit receivers, Barkley and a Pro Bowl tight end equals stacked. We definitely are not stacked. To me, the weapons are pretty stacked. Like Barkley to me is a top 3 or 4 running back in terms of talent. We'll see if he's healthy. He's got a number 1 wide receiver finally in Golladay. He's got Tony. Shepard's a very good slot wide receiver, and that's what he's going to be asked to play. The weapons are there. If he's a good quarterback, the weapons are good enough. The offensive line is the problem. That's the problem. He's definitely got at a bare minimum average weapons. I think it's above average, but at a bare minimum average weapons. Then at Taking Talking Sports, Solder starting is not great. However, can't rush with the oven cooking and kitchen, or else you'll get a raw product. AK, I don't want to. Yeah, I agree. Listen, man, I wanted to see Parrott start as well. The reason I'm disappointed, it has nothing to do with Solder starting. Like, this year we have to be able to evaluate Daniel Jones. And to start the year going up against the edge rushers we're going up against, if Joe Judge and Rob Sale feel that Nate Solder is going to give Daniel Jones a better opportunity to be able to throw the football, orchestrate the offense, and not get destroyed, I understand it. But as a fan, knowing that the Giants passed up on a lot of offensive linemen in this year's draft and elected to go with Matt Parrott, the fact that he couldn't beat out Nate Solder when, even if it was close, I think he gets the job, is discouraging. But you know what? Hopefully he just needs more time to progress. He was a project. We knew that when we drafted him. 99th overall. I'm going to give him the year. I'm not going to flip out. I'm going to give him the year, and hopefully he slides into that starting right tackle before the end of the season and he grows as a player. But hopefully Nate Solder gets the job done early on. Pete, he says, I didn't suggest we're stacked right now. I didn't say you did. I'm just saying a lot of fans do. I'm not saying you. DJ is just okay. He'll need a stacked team to win a ring. If that's the case, I agree with you. I don't know if we're going to be able to come to a full conclusion to that by the end of the year. We'll see how he plays. But yeah, I agree. If he's just okay, he's not going to be the long-term answer in terms of getting a second contract. I agree with that. It's got to be better than okay. Hopefully this year he starts trending towards better than okay. But we'll see. We'll see by year's end. Hopefully we're going to get our answer by year's end. If he's not improved this year. If he is improved, well, then he'll probably get a fourth year. Every quarterback I don't know if every quarterback needs a stacked team, but every quarterback needs help. I will definitely agree with that. Listen, you look at Deshaun Watson. Let's talk to the people in the chat. And I know Deshaun Watson put up stats, but like you said in your comment, to win. Where do you guys rank Deshaun Watson in terms of being a quarterback in the NFL? How many Giants fans would take Deshaun if it wasn't for the off the field stuff, which obviously is still pending and horrible? But if that didn't happen, how many Giants fans in the chat would want Deshaun Watson as their quarterback? I think most of you would, in terms of just a talent. He's probably a top, 5, 6, 7 talent quarterback in football. How many wins did he have last year? He had 4. Quarterbacks need a team around him. There's no denying it, man. There's no denying it. So, yeah, it's a team game. Thoughts on signing Newton? Not happening. Here's why I would never. I mean, let's think of it from both perspectives. Let's think of it from Cam Newton's perspective. If you're Cam Newton and you're trying to do essentially probably what Teddy Bridgewater did, right? Teddy Bridgewater got put in a really good situation. He thrived with the Saints, and he got a big contract out of it. If you're Newton, why would you want to go to the Giants? If you go to the Giants, that you clearly know they're trying to build around Daniel Jones, and you clearly know they have a bad offensive line, you're not going to step in and be the immediate starter. And if you're the Giants, why would you bring in Cam Newton? This is the year you want to evaluate your quarterback at Daniel Jones. I don't see it. Cam Newton last year proved to be a mediocre quarterback at best, even if he's a slight upgrade of Daniel Jones, which I could make an argument he's not. And Daniel Jones at this point of his career has a higher upside than what Newton has. We know Newton's on the downside of his career. I love Cam Newton. I say it all the time. Cam Newton's one of my favorite players. I always thought he was disrespected, underrated, but at this point in his career, he's not the same player. It doesn't make any sense. There's no need to put added pressure on Daniel Jones. He's got the weight of the world of his shoulders already, knowing that this is a put up or shut up year for him. I'm not going out there. I'm not adding Cam Newton. It's unnecessary pressure. Doesn't need to happen. And it's not like Cam Newton's going to be a dramatic upgrade at the quarterback position. If we're going to win 6 games this year and Newton's slightly better than Daniel Jones, maybe we'll win 7. This is a year to find out whether or not Daniel Jones is going to be the guy going forward. I don't see the need to bring in Cam Newton. Pete, man, thank you very much. No, every quarterback doesn't. Guys like Brady, Brady's always had a very good offensive line. He's always had a very good defense. Rodgers, Wilson, Mahomes. Rodgers had the best offensive line in football last year. Wilson, I mean, those quarterbacks are otherworldly, though. That's the other thing I'll say. But yeah, there are every quarterback needs help. Brady didn't go to Brady did not go to a bad situation. Let's be real. The Tampa Bay Bucks won 7 games the year before, yes, but they had Jameis Winston who threw 30 picks. They had a very talented team around Brady. That's why Brady chose that destination. And Brady's great. And Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. I'm not knocking Tom Brady. But every quarterback to win Super Bowls, to win championships, to make the playoffs on a year-in, year-out basis needs a good team. But some quarterbacks are obviously able to do more with less. And those quarterbacks you mentioned, though, you're talking about 4 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. And good luck trying to find those quarterbacks. They don't grow on trees. Believe me, It's very hard to find those quarterbacks in the draft. But yeah, of course, if you get a top 5 quarterback, you run for it. But the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Simon, man, thank you very much. I personally don't get how we take extra cornerback depth for such as Robinson, but can't take extra O-line depth to be safe. Getty is royally effed if it doesn't pan out. I understand it, man. I understand where you're coming from. Every New York Giants fan wanted to take a third-round offensive lineman. Every Giants fan wanted to take an offensive lineman in the second, third round. They elected not to do it, and he's going to be judged based off that decision this year if the offensive line doesn't work out. Aaron Robinson could be a very good player, but it was obvious going into the draft that the offensive line was a huge need for this team. And we'll see. At least they did address the depth before the year started, bringing in guys like Billy Price and Skura. And here's what I'll say about that. For anybody that wanted to take an offensive lineman in the third or the fourth round and not in the first round like I did, I want to take an early offensive lineman. For people complaining that the Giants didn't take an offensive lineman in the third or the fourth round, the guys we brought in probably equate to that. Like in terms of the impact that they'll have on year one. If you're drafting a third or fourth round offensive lineman, that's probably what Bredesen brings to the table just for this year's team. And he's young with upside. But I would have wanted a more immediate impact player, meaning I would have went offensive line in the first round. So that's my take on it. I do think that they got capable backups, good depth players late in the process this offseason, but I thought that they needed more of an upgrade on the offensive line. And hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully the offensive line is a great year this year, and we're going to find out. Let's see. Chris, we always blame Gettleman about the O-line. Not that he's picked good, but he's put a solid amount of resources in the O-line. It's time for the players to perform. Sure. But to me, you don't stop. I don't know, man. Like maybe you disagree with me, Taco. Our O-line's been bad for 10 years. And I look at teams like the Saints. They keep drafting offensive linemen. Even though they have a great offensive lineman. They took Ruiz in the first round a year ago. They keep drafting offensive linemen because they know they're not going to be able to keep all of them. They keep recycling them. They keep improving their depth. And you look at the Eagles. The Eagles consistently always draft offensive linemen early in the draft. The Cowboys, and are we really going to bank on the 99th overall pick and a fifth-round guard? That's what we did. Would you bank, for everybody that says that, you were complaining that we were banking on a fifth-round wide receiver in Darius Slayton. So you obviously get more talent more often than not early in the draft. I personally thought that we needed to upgrade the offensive line, but I hope I'm wrong. Pete, man, thank you very much. Forget a third-round guy. If you legit missed on Thomas, and I'm not saying he definitely did, man, I don't think you – no, listen, if he missed on Thomas, we're screwed. Well, Gettleman's screwed if he missed on Thomas. But we're going to give Thomas the year, and we're going to see what we got. I still think Thomas is going to have a good year. I know teams are people are freaking out about the preseason game. I still think Thomas is going to be good this year, and I will not freak out after 2 games. So we'll see how he does this year. I'm going to give him the year, and we'll see how he progresses in year 2. But we'll see. I still think Andrew Thomas will be good. Ray, man, what's going on, buddy? Simon says, I feel safer about our O-line depth than the starters now. I agree. I think our offensive line depth is adequate now. That was obviously a major problem. I think we addressed that. I think we have solid depth linemen. The starters are obviously a major question mark right now, and hopefully Solder could get it done. Andrew Thomas, we knew before the year started, was going to have to take a big leap. One encouraging thing about preseason, Hernandez looked really good. I think we all have pretty good – I think we all feel at least somewhat strong about our center, Nick Gates. So we'll see. Obviously, Shane Lemieux is a major question mark, and or whoever they may put at that guard position, if not for him, if he goes out with the knee injury. Bredesen, or if we shift Gates and we start Skura, they have some options there in the interior, but we'll see. I was huge on Thomas. It's one season, BB. But yeah, I was huge on Thomas. I'm not giving up on Thomas yet. It's one season. He's a rookie left tackle. He got better as the year went along. We'll see how he does this year. And I'll be the first to say I was wrong. If Thomas is a bust, I was wrong. I don't think he's going to be. I feel it's everybody's best interest if the Browns go 0-16. What's going on, Benjamin? How you been? Hey, what's going on? Ray, man, I'm excited for football season. I can't wait, man. I'm excited for football season. Do you think if Saquon does bad or gets hurt, he is gone? I think if Saquon gets hurt this year, we keep him on the 5th-year option, and then he's gone. I don't think he gets a contract extension. Maybe if he plays good in that 5th year, we franchise tag him, but he's not going to get a second long-term commitment if he gets hurt this year. But he's already on the books the following year for $7 million on the 5th-year rookie extension. So I do think almost no matter what, he will more than likely be a Giant next year, whether he's really good or gets hurt this year. If he's really good this year, I do think the New York Giants will extend him in the offseason, but he's obviously got to prove it first. If this O-line ranks bottom of the pack, I will seriously have my questions about signing Kenny Golladay, overtaking Lindsley. We'll see. We'll see, man. Keep smashing those likes. I appreciate that, Jedi. Yeah, I'm gonna end this in like 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna be live all week, but I figured I'd hang out with you guys a little bit after the picks. I always like doing the picks. We'll probably do those every week, as long as you guys are interested in it. I may do power rankings as well. I'm probably gonna wait till after week 1 to start sprinkling those in. So I'll probably start doing those in these streams as well. Do we beat the Broncos? Yes, I have the Giants beating the Broncos narrowly. I've kind of teetered back and forth. I've said 17-14, 2017. That game is actually the lowest over-under on the docket, week 1. It's 41.5, and I don't think it's low enough. I think that game's going to be under 40 combined points. It's two good defenses. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be like a 2017 type game. I think the Giants are going to win by about a field goal. All right, sports, be good, man. Do we go 2-0? Let's get 1-0 first. I say it all the time, amazing guy. One game at a time. I'm not concerned about 2-0. I'm not concerned about 3-0. I'm concerned about 1-0. Not focused on Washington. I'm focused on the team at hand, and that's the Denver Broncos. And Wolfman, thank you very much, man, for the dollar donation. Well, the first game I'm going to call is tomorrow. The season kicks off tomorrow. Giants' biggest rival, the Dallas Cowboys, are playing. Cowboys versus Bucks tomorrow night, and then the Giants playing Sunday at 4:25. And then the Knicks, I know you're in all the Knicks streams. They start, I think, in like mid-October, so I'll be doing those as well. But yeah, first Giants game is on Sunday. Pete, man, thank you very much. Authentic, good points, but Hernandez at left guard was a high Gettleman pick. DJ dropping back too far, a high Gettleman pick. If they all point to Thomas's failures, it still condemns Gettleman. Hey, man, at the end of the day, if you take a tackle 4th overall, he's got to be good. He doesn't have to be all pro, but he's got to be good. If Andrew Thomas is bad, that falls on Gettleman. That would fall on any GM. So, yeah, I'm going to be fair in my evaluation of Dave Gettleman this year. If Andrew Thomas is not good, we'll see. We'll see how he does this year. But, yeah, if Andrew Thomas is a bust this year, Dave Gettleman's gone. I'm telling you that right now. If Andrew Thomas sucks this year, if he's Eric Flowers-esque, which he won't be, he's not going to be that bad, Dave Gettleman will be gone. He'll be without a job. Graham Gano is fantasy must start. Got him at kicker week 1. Let's go. When listen, man, the Mets, those streams take 4 hours, and the Mets are done. The Mets are like 5 out now with like 20 games to go. If it was really close down the stretch, I was going to do some Met games, and obviously I was going to do playoff games. But yeah, man, the Mets are. I mean, I hope they make the playoffs, but I think they're done, man. And the schedule's about to get a lot tougher. I know they're playing better, but they're 5 games out, man. Or maybe they're 4 games out. I don't know if the Braves won tonight. Do you mind that the Jets share a stadium with us? I have always hated it. Jets are not on the same level as the Giants franchise-wise. No, I don't care. I know some Giants fans may hate that. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. It's our stadium at the end of the day. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I guess I would prefer my own stadium, but it doesn't really bother me. What's going on there, Jarvis Juice, man? Thanks for popping in. The Metsies are done. I need another sport to take my mind off. I'm with you, Ray, man. I've been dying for football to start, man. I thought the Mets were going to get me through, but the team just fell apart this year, man, with all the injuries. If Getty is out, then Abrams is in. I think I agree, because I think the Giants are going to want to stick with Joe Judge, and that to me makes the most sense if that's their plan. If their plan is Joe Judge long term, I think they're going to hire in-house. I really do if they move on from Gettleman. I agree with you. It's the way I look at it, Kevin, and maybe I'll be wrong. This is just my prediction. If Gettleman does fail this year and the Giants win 6 games and they make a change, it's basically going to be like Dave Gettleman is still here. It's just I guess it's more of a politically correct press conferences, and you're not going to have the laughs, but you're just going to have Kevin Abrams be the general manager. I don't think they're going to make a major change. I don't think they're going to want to shake things up with Joe Judge, and they'll use Dave Gettleman as the fall guy. That's what I think will happen. I think Abrams will or somebody from within the organization will step up and become the GM. Kind of like what they've always done. They did that with Reese. Gettleman had ties with the Giants before. That's what I think will happen, if I'm being honest with you. Is this a playoff team? I definitely think it could be. I'll have a much better idea by week 5 or week 6, but I definitely think it could be. Let's see how we look coming out. And Jarvis Drew says, I need the G-Men to win this week. I bet big bucks on a straight-up win over the Broncos. Great value for the underdogs, plus 140 money line. I think you got a good – I picked the Giants to win, obviously, but I think you got a good shot to win that bet. Home underdog, 2 pretty evenly matched teams. I think that's a good bet money line. I think you got a good shot to win it, man. So best of luck, buddy. Giants fans got robbed not having Odell and Saquon together for longer. At least I have them both. Hey, man, it would have been fun. There's no doubt about it. If things worked out, it would have been fun to get to see those two together. If obviously Beckham didn't get hurt the way he did with Cleveland and stayed healthy, and Barkley didn't get hurt, which he did his following year. But if they stayed healthy, that could have been very dynamic. And I think that's why people were super excited about it, when we brought them in. Tana Owen question mark will make you rethink things. Fabian, I'm going to judge this team after 5 games. It's going to take me 5 games to assess this team. If they start 0-2, I'm not going to panic. I don't think they're going to start 0-2. If they start 0-2, I'm not going to panic. I'm going to give this team 5 games. And at 5 games, if they're 1-4, if they're 0-5, yeah. And the offense looks bad going up against the Cowboys in Atlanta, yeah. But I'm going to give them some time. These guys didn't play together in preseason. There's a lot of new moving parts. I'm going to give them some time. Taco Man, thank you very much, man. Stand up, new member. My man, Taco Man, welcome to the squad, man. If OBJ would have just stayed off that, I think it was more than just a boat. What's up, Danny? Just joined the chat. How you doing? I'm doing good, man, DJ, man. Thanks for popping in. We're going to end this in like 4. I'll end it at 11. But I appreciate you for popping in, man. We can't put all the blame on Dave Gettleman for the picks free agency we brought in. Some blame has to fall on Joe Judge. Anthony, I've been consistent with that. And I've called for Giants fans to be consistent with that. You hear a lot of Giants fans, and I'm not trying to excuse Dave Gettleman of blame. I'm not. I just ask Giant fans to be consistent. You see a lot of Giants fans that give Joe Judge praise anytime there's a good move. And they give Dave Gettleman blame anytime there's a move they don't like. Well, if you're going to give Joe Judge praise when you like something, you have to also give him blame when you don't. Like, if you think Joe Judge has his hands all over this, well, he's got his hands on the bad things as well. So that's it, man. I'm going to be consistent in my views. Like, for people that think Joe Judge is more responsible or equally responsible, well, you have to take the good with the bad. And that's my take on it. So I agree with you on that. Taco Man, thank you very much. So happy to become a member. Love the channel, man. Taco Man, I really appreciate that, man. Zeke fan, man, what's going on, buddy? And Darian, man, thank you very much. He says, you think we're making a last-minute push to get a guy, and that's why we're freeing up cap space, or do you think we're done with Love Ryder? I don't think we're bringing in Austin Ryder, or Reader, however it's pronounced, the center from the Chiefs. No, we already brought in 3 interior offensive linemen. I think the reason they did that, you heard Dave Gettleman talk about it last year going into the season. He said that he always likes to have cap flexibility available before the year starts. And I think that's his reasoning. Maybe the New York Giants are, I don't know, say the deadline's 8 weeks in. Maybe the Giants are 5-3, 6-2. Hopefully, that'd be fantastic. And they're like, oh, we need to do this to put this team over the top. I think he wants that little bit of wiggle room to be able to make a move if he feels it's necessary. So I don't expect to move preseason, especially on the offensive line. But maybe there's like an edge rusher that becomes available that they feel like could take their defense to the next level. Maybe they have an injury at a key spot. So I think that's what it is. He wants to give the team a little wiggle room in season to make a move if they have to. City Gaga Steak, man, thank you very much. He says, you were right. Tiki was the greatest Giants running back. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he owns every record. He's got the most yards. He's probably got the most touchdowns. I don't know that for a fact, but maybe not, because he didn't score a lot of touchdowns early on. Ron Dane kind of vultured a lot of his touchdowns. But, yeah, Tiki Barkley can be. He's got to stay healthy. But Tiki Barber's by far the greatest Giant running back of all time. And let's see what we got here. Remember what Judge said to Saquon after the injury? It's going to be a hell of a story. Listen, man, I want nothing more than to see Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley bowl out this year, man. It would feel great. Chris, I heard you think Shepard will be back. He's going to be back. There's no doubt in my mind. Oh, sorry, I'm late. I appreciate you popping in, James. There's no doubt in my mind that Shepard's going to be back. To me, it's just common sense when you really think about it. Today, when the Giants did what they did, when I looked at next year's salary cap, I was like, okay, they're probably going to cut Shepard because they need
they're going to need that $8 million because they're going to be so, close to being over the budget. And they might have to re-sign Will Hernandez. They might have to, whatever they want to do, extend Barkley, re-sign Peppers. Like, they're going to need some money, right? So I always thought they were going to cut Shepard based off of that. I didn't want to cut Shepard. I love Shepard, but I thought it was going to be a foregone conclusion. By them doing what they did today, they now committed $2 more million to Sterling Shepard next year. Meaning if they cut him, say you would have saved, I don't remember what it was. It was like $7 million, $8 million. Now it would only be 5 or 6 rather. And if that's the case, then why did you do it? Why would you cost yourself another $2 million next year? You could have done it to another player that you knew was going to be on the team the following year. So by them doing it to Sterling Shepard, that tells me Sterling Shepard is going to be a New York Giant, at least in 2022. So I think that's a commitment to Shepard the following season. Pete, Matt, thank you very much. Hypothetically, if DJ and Thomas bust, do you use our first round capital to go to a new quarterback first, or do you use it to go O-line? Pete, and that's a tough hypothetical, because if I'm in love with a quarterback, you take the quarterback. If Jones is bad, you've got the ability to go up and get a quarterback, and you're in love with him. Say you think Spencer Rattler could be Justin Herbert or whatever, you get the quarterback. But if you're not in love with a quarterback, if you're like, yeah, he could be good, he could be pretty good, maybe he could be a top 10 quarterback, I wait. I wait. And either I go with Jones for another year or I get a stopgap and I keep filling in the holes in this team. And I know Giants fans, if Jones doesn't work out, are going to force they're going to want a quarterback no matter what. They're going to force it. They're going to be like, kind of like with Dwayne Haskins, right? The year in 2018. They're going to be like, oh, this guy could be great. We got to draft Dwayne. It's going to be the same thing. I already know that. But the team has to be committed to that quarterback. They have to be completely sold on that quarterback, especially if you're trading up. If you're trading up, you're even making a stronger commitment than what we did to Daniel Jones. You have to be completely sold on that quarterback. So if they're not, I continue to fill in the holes on this team. And if you don't think if Jones is horrible this year, maybe you get a stopgap. But I would try to fill in the other holes, whether that be edge rusher, whether that be offensive line. What's up there, Muhammad? Thanks for popping in. My bold prediction, week 1, Rams will lose. Don't say that. Don't say that, Chrome. I don't know if you're a Giants fan, but that'd be horrible. We need the Bears to go 0-17 this year, man. And Taco says, I agree with you. I'd hate to see it, but I agree with you. I think Peppers is gone as well because we drafted McKinney. We signed Logan Ryan. We made a stronger commitment to Logan Ryan. Now we made a stronger commitment to Shepard. We're strapped for cash as is. It's going to be tough to keep Jabril Peppers. They could make it work if they won. They could extend Martinez, backload the salary. They could extend Bradbury, backload the salary. But then you're really backloading a lot of salaries, right? And then you got to worry about Jones and Barkley potentially in the future. So I think it's going to be tough to keep Peppers, man. I really do. And I hate to say that. I love Peppers. So if you answered already, are you streaming oh, yeah, I'm streaming the game tomorrow. I'm shit. You're going to be sick of me. I'm streaming Thursday, calling that game. I'm streaming Friday for the Talking Giants show. It's going to be just Talking Giants. Streaming Saturday, the night before the game. I always do that. I'm going to let you guys come on via call with a couple of other Giants YouTubers. Going to kind of be a roundtable, but I'm going to let some subscribers call in. And then Sunday, I'm going to be calling the game. And Sunday night, if the Giants win, I'll be calling the Bears game because that'll be a big game for us. And then Monday, we'll be recapping the game live. So I'm going to be live tonight all the way up until Monday. Chris, if Peppers is gone, does that hurt us OBJ trade-wise? No, and I'm going to explain why, Taco. A lot of people say that. They're like, oh, well, if Jabril Peppers goes, you automatically lost the Odell Beckham trade. No, because if Odell Beckham was on the New York Giants, he'd be cut after this year. He wouldn't be with the Giants after this year with his injury history. Odell Beckham next year has almost no dead cap hit. You save like $15, $16 million if you cut him. So the way I look at that is Beckham wouldn't be on the Giants after this year. He would have been cut. So that's the way I look at that. So no, if Peppers moves on, no, that doesn't mean that we lost the Beckham trade. Now, if Beckham has an unbelievable year this year and the Browns win the Super Bowl, well, yeah, you look back at that trade and you say, oh, yeah, maybe they did lose it. But in terms of Peppers leaving, no, because I don't think Beckham would have been with this team past next year. Thank you, Chris. I'm back with my tribe. What's going on, T? Can I go live with you when you do the subscribers? I'm going in on the O-line. Yeah, I'm going to probably just take random callers and hopefully you get the call in. I'm not going to take a ton because I want to be able to talk to the panel. But if you don't get on the first time, I'm going to do it every week. So if you don't get on the first time, I'll make sure you get on, eventually. For sure, Elvis. Who would you rather, OBJ or Golladay? Right now, probably Golladay. It's close. I got to see how OBJ responds this year. I don't know. That's tough, man. That's tough. Chris, go to sleep. You have a big weekend. Oh, I'm going to sleep, man. Chris, if Shep is the sexiest player in the league. Yeah, I love him. But guys, yeah, I am going to go to bed. I'm going to call it a night, man. And Jack, you know what? I get asked this question all the time, so I'll do this real quick. Actually, I don't know if any of my mods have it. If they don't, I don't see a lot of my mods in here, so they probably don't have the link. I'll give it to you right now because people ask me for that all the time, and I'm never prepared. I appreciate you for asking, man. Nobody ever feel the need to have to do that. But let me get to the hold on one second. I got it right here. Community. Where is it? I'm gonna have to. I forgot where it is. Maybe one of my mods has it saved. If they don't, I will start posting it in the community notes for you guys in the future. I got to start doing that because you got a lot of people always ask me for that, and there's a link to it. But if you can't get to it, if you go to my channel, there's a join button, and you click the join button. I don't know if you're on your phone or your laptop though. Sometimes it's hard to find it, but I'll have it in the next stream for you in the description for anybody that asks. But make sure you guys join those contests. They're in the description below. I'm doing a pick against the spread contest for this week, so you better get in there today. First game's tomorrow night. I will post it on Twitter as well. Winner's going to get a fitted hat, and I'm doing an elimination pool, knockout pool. Winner's going to get a signed Eli Manning football. So make sure you get in on that. Yeah, obviously you got to be in. Well, I mean, you don't got to be in by tomorrow, but for the elimination pool, you got to be in by Sunday. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you guys for all the support. And, yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. You guys have a great rest of your night. Be good, everybody.